Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes. I'm telling you, I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Car era lore. Call me Levi playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain.
Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes. I'm telling you, I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boy.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes. I'm telling you, I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Appreciate all the early birds warming up the space for us. Greatly appreciate that. You all know what to do. As always, we're live over on Abstract as well as YouTube. Those subscriptions are greatly appreciated over there. Subscription sounds weird. I'll get this down one day. Working on the intro still. We'll get it dialed in soon. But as always, appreciate y'all being here. I'm Cap, no co-host today, but we're gonna have some fun. A big news weekend. We have a special guest, I think, coming up at 9. Didn't get confirmation, but if they do join us, we have some giveaways for the audience. So we'd love to have a full house for them if they do pop in. I'll check here in a few minutes to see if we get confirmation, but expecting a guest at 9. And like I said, a lot to get into, so we're going to jump right into it. First and foremost, happy birthday to the one and only Von Frunton. Celebrating his 29th birthday today. Congratulations, sir, on another trip around the sun. Hope you enjoy a fine day with the family. Hopefully you enjoy snow and ice and all things winter wonderland. If so, your birthday wishes have come true. And no, before anyone does, no Knights of Seven Kingdoms spoilers. As you know, that airs at 10 p.m., way past my bedtime. So we'll be checking that out this evening. It's my Monday evening viewing instead of Sunday. But you know what? I do have some show alpha. If you've not yet found Pitt, I was late to Pitt. The newest season just recently launched. I think there may be 2 or 3 episodes in. And I recently started watching the first season of that. Big fan. If you are a fan of the old school ER, Noah Wiley I think is his name. One of the ER actors is the lead in this show. And it follows the theme of, or the structure of 24, like Jack Bauer 24, where every episode is 1 hour in the ER. Pretty good show. I'm a big fan, and I'm not a fan of like bloods and guts and that sort of stuff. But yeah, good show. Kind of keep you on the edge of your seat type of show. And other than that, only other, speaking of viewing pleasure, was yesterday was not quite that when in the football streets. I guess GG's to any Patriots and Seahawks fans out there. Probably least excited I've been for Super Bowl in a long time, but yeah, whatever. It just we move on. I'm ready to draft some best ball for next year. We may hit on the Super Bowl. I think our friend Joey has some Super Bowl squares for his softball team. If anyone's looking to get a little sweat there. I don't know if I have anything live for the Super Bowl. Was running pure on Jared Stidham, got in early. Should have cashed those out before the snowpocalypse hit Denver, though. It was pretty ugly second half if you missed it. Jack, is my audio? I don't know. I think we got all the issues solved last week, but it seems to be cutting out a little bit. Is it good today?
Yeah, no, it sounded great until I came off mute. Then it started to crackle a little bit, but I'm wondering if that is like something to do with like the receiver or something your end. So maybe I just need to stay on mute when you talk, and it should be okay.
Could be. Sometimes that is the Rodecaster. If it's set up to main stereo, it will only allow one person talking at the time. Could be that. Like I can't come over top of you.
Oh no, that seems like it's it because you're now absolutely fine. If you want to do another live test on air, because I know the listeners absolutely love that, feel free to talk now and see if it crackles.
I think we powered through it. I think we're good. I think we got everything solved. I did shut down the Rodecaster for the entirety of the weekend. I think I'm going to go and grab a Duo, the new Rodecaster, which is smaller footprint, less. I never use all. This thing has four mics, and you can do so much more with it than I'm the only person here, so I don't need the full Rodecaster. I got to ship this thing off to get it refurbished, and I think I will refurbish the power button. I think before I do that, I'm going to get a Duo. We'll have one that I can take. It'll be easier to travel with as well. So we will see. Welcome. Before we jump into news item today, welcome the auditor. New handle there, Ian.
GM. Yeah, man. Just my new handle. I was always a night auditor my entire life for Hilton. So branching out, doing that in my LLC currently. So going by a new nomiker, a little new nickname.
Nice.
But I heard the TV talk, and I was like, okay, we're getting into it. Now, Knights of the Seven Kingdom, I don't know how to feel about it. First 5 seconds, I'm watching a dude shit. And it's kind of just all comical. I was kind of expecting more Game of Thrones.
No, definitely. So having read the books, I will say this is definitely not nearly as dark or bloody. There's no dragons in the whole season. I mean, they'll talk of dragons, but there is. I would say it's much more. I don't want to call it a comedy, but it's definitely much more comedic than the other seasons.
Definitely. And have you checked out the new Fallout yet?
I've not. I never got into Fallout.
I would recommend it. I personally would recommend it. I love the games, so I have a little bit of like nostalgia in me, but the show is fantastic on its own.
And they made the show after the games came out first, and then they made the show, right?
Yeah, the games came out all the way back in like '99 is when Fallout 1 came out. And then Fallout 3 is when they went to like the new systems, when they went like first person rather than like top down. And then that's where the games are mostly based out of.
Very cool. We'll go to Jack here in a second. Congratulations, Katie, the Pats fan, also snuggling out of. Where did I see this? I thought I saw 16 inches of snow. Whew. That is quite a bit. So I think I'm not trying to downplay it. I think after being hyped up all week, I think it ended up resulting in just a lot of snow. I didn't see any news reports. When I say news reports, I didn't see anything on X about crazy ice and massive power outages. So I hope that's the case. I hope it's just a lot of snow to shovel out of, and will melt here in a few days, and it wasn't as bad as might have been. But anyone's out today, thoughts with you, and hope things are back to normal here soon. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I just wanted to second the Fallout praise. Like, as somebody who doesn't have the same nostalgia for the game as well, the game was confusing as fuck, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the first couple of games I played, I didn't get into it in the 90s. So yeah, it's so slow in comparison to The other game, is it Elden Ring? Is it?
Yeah, Elden Ring. No,
No.
you're thinking of
Elden Scrolls.
Well, yeah, the Scrolls.
Oblivion. Yeah.
That was kind of like the end of my gaming career. Was 99, 2000. Not the end of it, but growing up, I played a lot more games. Especially in high school. One of my buddies, I mentioned, we talked about Lord of the Realm 2, which he still plays, by the way. I followed up after the show. We talked about that and played some of those style of games growing up. And then when I hit college, it was the era of the Sega Dreamcast. And so we were gambling heavily on sports video games. So like NFL 2K, Tiger Woods came out soon after for PlayStation, I think. The first Tiger Woods, and we were playing like $20 skins, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're a broke college kid writing it, at one point, I think I wrote an $800 check after a video game loss. Stings a bit. But my college career video game play was all sports. The other game, like GoldenEye, was huge at the time. I just didn't go that route, and didn't. And then after college, I hung up the video game controllers for quite some time. But Payne, I'm sorry. I'll give him 4 minutes, and then we will move on. We do have a lot of news of the day. I'll hit those headlines here in a second, but what can I say? People like talking video games. Go ahead, Joey, and we'll go back to Jack.
Yeah, I think honestly, Fallout is one of the more accurate shows or movies we've gotten from video games. They've tried to stick pretty close to the game itself. I mean, it's hard, right? Like what you can do in video games and how you can tell a story and is very different than what you can do. And we saw that with Last of Us. Like Last of Us started strong and then kind of fell off, and it really lost the plot based on the video game. One of the next ones that's coming out that I'm excited about is I know we all grew up playing this at our local movie rental store, whatever, was the Mortal Kombat. I think some of those Mortal Kombat movies have been bad. Some of them have been good, but I know there's another one coming, and I'm excited for that one. Mortal Kombat is like my childhood, like riding my bike to the video game rental store, buying like lemon heads or sour warheads for 5 cents and playing Mortal Kombat for 25 cents for like hours.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat. Wasn't as big as I know many people that was, really tugging on some nostalgic heartstrings. I'll say on Fallout, the one thing that might get me to actually watch, I think I started it and just couldn't get into it because I truly never played the game. So there was zero nostalgia for me. But the thing that might get me to watch it would be Walton Goggins. Big fan of Walton, and underrated. I don't think he's going to be in the next. No, he definitely wouldn't be in the next season of. Man, I'm drawing a blank. The show that's like different actors every season. White Lotus. He was great in that, but I will become a big fan of Walton Goggins. I think it also might be because he brought back the receding hairline, and I don't know if mine's receding. I think it's just been like this for a while, but I can get away with even actually. Well, I get myself in trouble here. I think it's I might have to attribute Walton Goggins for some of the ladies in the 20s finding me attractive. I'm just going to leave it at that. Jack, we'll go back to Jack, then we'll go to Joey, and then we got to move on.
Look, I was just going to say, like, Fortnite, just to sum up, is definitely Fortnite. Why have I said Fortnite? Fallout is definitely worth a watch, even if you're not a fan of the games. Like, it is a fantastic series. The acting is incredible. The concept is fantastic. It's like anybody will like that series if they're into like a fantasy genre or a dystopian, like post-nuclear genre. I did actually. I don't know if this is going to steer you away from the cold open or not, Cap. But are we going to talk about Claudebot today? Have you seen this on the timeline? It's definitely got crypto.
I mean, if you've been on X, I don't know how you missed it. My favorite thing about Claudebot though was I got by a shit post, a troll, if you will. I'm going to go find it because yes, I saw several. I mean, I'll run one. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I said I'm not going to. I'm not going to buy it. I have too many old computers sitting around. I'll just spin one of those up. It not only one of the headlines today is Claudebot and the run on Mac Minis. I would just say you don't need to buy a Mac Mini. I mean, you can run this with a Raspberry Pi or probably an old laptop or desktop you have lying around. This was my favorite one, though. Patty I says, the story of Rohan Vora, Claudebot founder, born in India, studied computer science. If you're not familiar, Rohan is Frank DeGods. Got deep into cryptos and NFTs, co-founded DeGods and Utes, built one of the biggest NFT communities on Solana, expanded to Ethereum and Polygon. DeGods became a cultural phenomenon. Utes launched with massive hype. Community grew to hundreds of thousands. Partnerships with major brands. Navigated the NFT boom and bust. Stepped back from day-to-day NFT operations. Took time to explore new products. Stayed close to builder community. Back to coding. Returned to full-time building. January 26th, launched Claudebot, open source AI assistant. Runs locally. Right now, it's viral on the internet. Everyone is posting their Mac Mini and Claudebot setups. Picture of Frank and Claudebot. It got me because I actually asked. I go, "Is this real?" Hey, it's in the range of outcomes that Frank created this Claudebot, but it was not Frank. It was just a shit post, and it got me good. Joey, go ahead.
I'll end on this. Two TV series or movies I would like from video games is The Oregon Trail and Red Dead Redemption. I mean, Oregon Trail would bring back a ton of nostalgia for us with people getting dysentery from drinking the water.
Funny meme floating around is someone says, it's an Oregon Trail meme, and it says, Terry. I'm Terry. He's like, huh, that's a woman's name. And then the next photo is, you've been shot for dysentery. Ding. I need the hold on a second. I'm really bad at this. Nope, wrong one. There we go. It was funnier that I messed up. All right. In all seriousness, we got a last nonsensical take here for Cold Open, Ian, and then we got to get into news of the day because we got a lot, especially have a guest at 9.
My bad.
Oh, good.
Walter Goggins and Vice Principal.
Walton.
You guys love HBO.
See, hold on. I gotta correct you. A lot of people think his name is Walter. It's actually Walton, and I think that's part of the charm. Is he's got a very unique name. I don't know another Walton. Can you name another Walton other than Bill Walton? Like a Walton first name?
Walmart chain. The guy who owns Walmart.
Last name. I don't know another first name Walton. It's the only. I think he might be a 1 of 1.
You're right. Actually, I think so. It might be that rich old money. But last point on that. Quentin Tarantino making a TV series of the Oregon Trail would be the greatest 8 episodes I would ever watch. He kind of did that with The Hateful Eight, but make it into 8 episodes and I'd watch it.
Agreed. We need this to happen. Quentin Tarantino, if you're happening to listen, I know. Actually, he's not listening because we got a sleepy start on a Monday morning, so I do need to give an extra ask for a like, repost, a bookmark on today's space. It'll warm up the algo. It does do us a big favor. Appreciate all those who did it early, even to drop the GMs in the chat. All those add up. And we got to get the space warmed up so that Quentin can find it and can jump in here, and we can pass along this suggestion, because Quentin Tarantino Oregon Trail, movies are back. IP movies are coming back this year. There's a lot of highly anticipated movies that's really looking forward to. Can't remember last time there was multiple movies that I might actually consider going to a theater to see, and Oregon Trail by Tarantino would be one of them. Great call out. Had never thought that, but I do concur. Jack, we are going to come back to Claudebot, but I have that towards. Let me just hit the headlines. Maybe we'll start with Claudebot because I don't know how much else to add to it unless you're deep. So yes, Claudebot. Think of it as simply an AI assistant that runs locally, kind of like what Think Agents is building. If you remember Think Agents, we've had them on the show here in the past. They're doing some stuff, basically AI locally. You own your data, etc. That said, I also, there is risk with this. You're giving credentials to your email, anything you wanted to use, you're giving credentials to, and you're one exploit away from potentially bad things happening. There's already been an exploit, but the good news is I think it was either Legendary or Sammy said you can actually just tell your Claudebot to fix it, and it did. So cool stuff. I'm here for it. I've struggled with virtual assistants in the past. I've tried several of them. It just never stuck for me. I've had some incredible human assistants, but I've never been able to convert that to the virtual world. And I think that's what's led me to be a little slow to adopting an AI assistant. Has been my Sunday morning, even some of like the premium ones I've used in the past, and they just never stuck for me. And I felt I just wasted. It ended up being more work than just doing the thing myself. And that's a me problem. I'm not doubting the AI assistant could be massive, but even like, I'm not knocking it. It's really cool. But I was listening to Legendary. He told his AI assistant wanted some upgraded GPU, and he said go earn it. Here's $1,000 or $2,000 or something to trade with, and it's already it got liquidated a couple times, then it got closed one up 60%. It's like I can do that. Like I can get liquidated. It's like it's break even after a few days of trading. So it's not like, I know it's early and things probably continue to get better. And I think the biggest thing here is learn the stuff. Like even if it's not something you're going to deploy in everyday life and everything you do, I do think this is a time where you don't want to look back in 3, 4, 5 years and feel like you got left behind. I think at least being aware of this stuff, if you're going to do it, is important. And if things do take off, if it levels up to the next threshold, it's just like all the vibe coding apps. I think a lot of the stuff you read also is just BS. I think people you can just make stuff up. These are privately held companies. They can say whatever they want. I'm making $100,000 a month in recurring revenue. It's like, sure you are, buddy. Sure. So here's Joey, Ian, and Oxy. Hold those thoughts. We can continue the Cloudbot conversation. I just real quickly want to at least fly over the other headlines of the day, and then we'll start with Cloudbot and we'll dive into the others. Penguin, not Pingu or Pudgies, but the new Penguin meme bringing back the trenches is a real story. I think it ran up to about around 92 million last I checked. Market cap. Gold beat ETH to 5K, while crypto continues to chop down, and fear and greed now below 30. That's maybe noteworthy. Nifty Gateway shutting down. This is important. If you have any assets on Nifty Gateway, this is a real PSA. You're going to want to get your assets out of there. You got less than a month to do so. Otherwise, you'll lose them forever. Pretty disappointing on, not that they shut down, I get it. Businesses go out of business all the time, but how they're going about it and the timeline's pretty disappointing. There's some, Beeple, Xcopy, Sam Spratt. There's some incredible assets. My first ETH NFT was a Justin Blau Faces NFT on Nifty Gateway. I have 2 of those on there. I need to get out. BIRBs announced their TGE date, as we speculated on the show. It would come on that marathon. They did, in fact, it was their grand finale. They ran up a little bit, and then there was rumors circulating that there was a snapshot taken, so there was a big sell-off. They kind of bled out. They came out and said, hey, there's not been a snapshot taken, alluding you're going to need those NFTs at TGE Day to get your actual tokens. So they bounced back up a little bit. Del Mundo's continue to rip up to now nearly a free mint, now up to 0.03 ETH. Heavy Metals continue to rip up another 13% to 0.14. Rekt making waves at the X Games, and they have another drink dropping today, their collaboration with X Games. And then on top of that, MoonPay announced a 3-year partnership with Rekt Games. We'll pull up some articles and highlight those if we have time. And then, per the title here, not only is Nifty Gateway ending, crypto crime season might be coming to an end. We'll talk about Zach's XBT's latest expose, as well as we have apparently potentially some new information on the Trove team, the Trove founders, and quite frankly, some threats towards them. Otis. So before we go back to Cloudbot, one more. Yes, Apple II Oregon Trail with 5.2 floppy disks, all time, the best game ever. I'll see your Apple II and I'll raise it to a Commodore 64. 4th and inches on the Commodore 64 was ahead of its time, one of the greatest football games of all time. It's worth getting an emulator and playing that if you never have. Shout out to Joe Dakota and Rusty Nail. If you know, you know. Otis says his name isn't just Walton. It's Walton Sanders Goggins Jr. You were right, Ian. Old money or something there. Couldn't have been easy on the playground, but I'm even more of a fan of Walton, knowing his official name is Walton Sanders Goggins Jr. What a legend. And big fan. Let's go, Joey. And then I lost the other hands. Jack, if you want to get in after this, you can. But let's go, Joey, and then Oxy. Joey, go ahead.
Yeah. So this Cloudbot thing, I see for those of you that are good with this stuff and want to start a little side business. Years ago, when Fire Sticks, which apparently I just realized is a federal crime, Fire Sticks were getting jailbroke all the time, and people were putting on these IPTVs and these movie hacks and all this stuff like that. A friend of mine basically just started a business where he would, you would pay him whatever it is, $300 or $400, and it included a year subscription to IPTV and all these apps to get free movies and stuff. And he would buy the Fire Stick, he would jailbreak it. I am intrigued by Cloudbot. I understand from watching some of the videos, it's not that difficult. But to be honest, I would much rather just pay somebody. Like, I don't know how much a Mac Mini costs, right? But like, let's say the Mac Mini is $500. I'd rather just drop somebody $600, $700, say, build it on the Mac Mini for me, right? Ship it to my house, plug it in, and I'm good to go. Versus me going out, buying the Mac Mini, watching all these tutorial videos, setting up. Because I mean, I'm pretty tech savvy and I understand how this stuff works, but my time, I kind of would rather just pay somebody to do it. So I don't know who's out there and if you're interested, but I'd be down if somebody wants to do it for me and just ship it to me. Or I don't know, maybe they can't because I would have to. I mean, signing into all the emails is easy, right? But the other part of like getting it all set up could be a nice little side business for somebody.
Oh, I agree. I think I was looking for. I don't know why I can't find him in search. Well, I know I can't because Twitter search is absolutely. It might be the worst search on the planet. His name is Greg. He does the startup thing. Does anyone know who I'm talking about? Help me out here. I know Von Frunten is a fan.
It's like Eisenberg.
Yeah, but that's what I thought too. But it's not. My Eisenberg is apparently spelled wrong.
I think it starts with an H though.
Like Heisenberg. Are you serious? Are you?
Yeah, I think so.
Like the atomic bomb guy?
Yeah, I think it's like I know exactly who you're talking
You know
about.
I'm
Weird
talking
dude
about.
with glasses.
Yeah, I shouldn't say this. This is a very mean comment. I like his content. It's good.
It's bait. It's pure bait.
It is very baity, and I kid you not, I stopped following his content on X after I listened to a couple pods, and there was something about it. Maybe it was the bait, and I don't know. There was something about it just really annoyed me. Might have been his voice. I hate I hate saying that about anyone. I'm just keeping it very real here. Like I like his content. It is there you go. Thank you, Von Frunten. No, it's an Isenberg. I was putting an extra E in there for the Eisenberg. But here is so he does have some good takes. This is one of them. I just found something. I can't describe it. I don't know what it is. And I feel bad saying this. I just found something incredibly annoying about him. And so where I stopped listening to the pod, and I haven't muted him on X, but I've just tuned out completely and I couldn't even find him. This looks like, a LinkedIn post here. He says, you can probably make 10 million plus in 2026 by installing, configuring, and optimizing cloud bots for businesses. Right now, you sell CloudBot the same way MSP sold cloud security or IT in the 2000s. Install it, tune it, own it. Installing CloudBot is scary for 99.999% of people, including Joey. You help there. You start niche, one vertical, one job to be done, real estate brokerages, law firms, e-commerce, ops teams, agencies, accounting firms, logistic companies. You price on value, and realistically, it'll be cheaper than hiring a new employee. Everyone can install CloudBot because it's one line of code, but very few people can make it reliable, fast, safe, and trusted by your team. You own the green box. The part of the workflow worth $10K an hour. When it breaks, you get the call. When they want advice, you get the call. I think if you have distribution, this idea can get you to 10 million plus. Hard to scale if you don't. But probably one of the most no-brainer ideas floating out there. I'm reading for you. Sound like I just read Chat GPT as well. And this is maybe also a me thing. I'm probably up to full port to Claude because ChatGPT has gotten ridiculous. Like, I don't know, something changed recently to where I can ask it a yes/no question, and it's like asking Steve if he likes water. It'll give me 17 paragraphs. It types a novella on like, hey, where should I hang this? Where should I hang this poster? And instead of telling me I should hang it like 32 inches, the bottom should be 32 inches above the ground. It'll give me, like, no joke, an entire like doctorate thesis on what the proper way to hang that. Like it is absolutely absurd. And for someone who has never been diagnosed, but I believe I have ADHD, I become mad at ChatGPT every time I ask you something. It's like, dude, just tell me the answer. Like I'm asking you a yes/no question. I don't need 17 paragraphs. In my rant there, Oxy, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was just coming up to talk about like learning it because just how important and how revolutionary it is right now with like everyone's using it. And I had an interview recently. I was talking to a company and they were like, "Can you code?" And I'm like, "No, I've never taken any coding classes. I don't know how to code anything basically." But I was like, "But I can figure it out." And they're like, "Oh, okay, like expand on that a little bit." And like I've been messing around with vibe coding and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, if it's a very basic thing, I can figure it out. I can use AI and I can reason through to make something like actually work. And obviously, like software development and coding is obviously incredibly difficult. And like, I'm not going to build out like a super app and like it be great. But if you need me to set up some very basic like coding things, I can figure it out simply because I know how to use the tools that are around me. And I mean, they love that answer, and it's such a powerful tool to be able to. It's funny, like people were talking about this for a while now, but like prompting and how that has become a skill is like a very real thing.
Oh,
and I don't know, it's really interesting.
I mean, who am I to say? Because I'm not a programmer. I think it's probably more important to know to going forward, arguably more like if my daughter said I wanted to go into CIS or MIS as a major in college, I would tell her, fine, but you better have AI doing 90% of the work. I think it's more important to know how to get AI to code for you than it is to know how to code yourself. Even people at Claude, they're coding with AI. Like the AI is some of the top developers in the world are using AI to do their coding. Like it just to me no brainer to learn the skill, be aware of it, and even if you're not out there writing, you don't have to be vibe coding apps that you're trying to deploy in the app store. You need to understand. You just need to understand the tech. It's not going anywhere. It's going to proliferate almost every area of our life, and I do think this is real alpha that you need to, even if it's not in your comfort zone, not something you enjoy, you need to just start with something simple like ChatGPT or Claude and just start incorporating in your day-to-day life. And you'll get at least somewhat acquainted, somewhat familiar with prompting and responses. I think that's the other thing is the more responses you see, like the long-winded responses, that's AI crafted. It's going to be a increasingly important skill set, regardless of what profession you're in. I don't think there's many that it's not going to impact. And probably one of the best things you can do in terms of investing in yourself and investing in your future-proofing yourself is understanding AI and these LLMs and things like Claude, etc. Let's go back to Joey, and then we'll go back to Ian.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the show before, and it's being talked about increasingly more by some of the bigger business people I listen to, which is AI is going to replace some very menial tasks. But the reality is AI is going to replace people that don't embrace AI. So to your point, as like a software engineer or somebody like that, if you and another software engineer both went to the best school and have the highest marks and could perform all the best tasks, but then one of you has embraced the use of AI, which helps you more efficiently use your time, get tasks done faster, that's why you're going to get replaced. Not because of AI, but because you've spent the time to understand and learn how AI will make you better at your job or responsibilities.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Very well said. And yeah, I'm not the only one who's getting frustrated with ChatGPT being the exact opposite of concise is. I don't know what the proper word is, but it rambles and rambles and rambles. And it didn't used to be. I know it used to be kind of like this, but it seemingly has gotten increasingly worse. I'm not kidding about like hanging pictures. I just recently moved into a new house, and just like simple setup, like, hey, help me set up this room. Where exactly should I mount this TV? And I did it in a couple rooms. Like, listen, just tell me what height should I hang this one? It's the guest room. Like, here's the bed. Like, it would give me. It was absurd. It was literally ridiculous. I may even pull up my my ChatGPT.
But you can tell ChatGPT, like, I would like you to give this to me in a one sentence answer. And the more you tell it to like not talk so much, the less it'll talk so much.
Maybe I've asked it to be concise, and maybe it doesn't understand concise. I don't know. It's gotten worse instead of getting better, and I try to coach it. Like, I don't need all that. Just give me the straight answer. So yeah, something in my prompting needs to change, and maybe that's it. Just a one word answer or one sentence answer is maybe the alpha there, because it is. I use both. I use Claude and ChatGPT. It's really probably the only two I use right now, at least on a regular basis. But I'm about to just full port over to Claude for everything. The only reason I've stuck with ChatGPT is it just has more history on me, it has more knowledge. It knows about Coffee with Captain. It knows about it has a lot of history and memory on me and what I do, and so I don't have to. So it used to save me time, so I didn't have to repeat myself. But now it's not saving me time because I ask it something and it wants me to read 1,500 words instead of a sentence or two. Let's go back to Ian, and then I saw Von Front jumped up. I'm sure he's got some comments on this as well. Ian, go ahead.
Yeah, so ChatGPT has been failing in all of its benchmarks recently.
I think they're cooked.
They are cooked as a company with the Elon Musk lawsuit. So what I would suggest you to do, ask your ChatGPT to download all of its memory.
Okay.
And you can full port. It's going to give you a CSV. You can then full port that over to Gemini. I recommend Gemini to everyone.
Wow.
To me, Gemini is the best regular use model for the everyday person. It's pulling from YouTube, it's pulling everything from Google. It has a lot better data. So I would take all your information, throw it over to Gemini. If you have PayPal, you get Gemini Pro for free for a year. I would use that much more than ChatGPT. Throw ChatGPT right in the trash.
I don't use Gemini for anything other than I use Nano Banana occasionally. I use Notebook occasionally, and I use Gemini baked into Gmail and baked into search. Like I now will Google search some things where I wasn't previously. I'm not looking for the Google search result. It's just a quick. I got my Chromebook. I got Chrome open. I can type. I know I can type something like basically a prompt into my browser search. And what I'm looking for isn't the search results. It's just the AI overview that I get from Gemini.
I think that's their business model. They're going to integrate their AI into every single living thing they do. Same with Microsoft, but I think they're even beating Microsoft right now. And a lot of other companies like Anthropic is crushing Microsoft.
How did Anthropic get to AI in Excel before Microsoft? Like that itself just shows you like
Copilot has it. They just don't want to release it. And
crazy.
Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer, they all think the world's ending. They don't believe in AI. They don't want to send money over there. So Anthropic's like, okay, we'll take your business model and trash you then. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of fair. Bill Gates did steal the OS system way back in the day from a programmer. So it's kind of karma justice in a way that Microsoft is getting their comeuppance.
Yeah, Microsoft and Apple both getting their AI cake eaten by the startups. It's Steve would be rolling over in his grave if he saw some of this AI news because Steve was ahead of it. Steve saw this coming before he passed. Like Steve saw this happening decades ago, and I can't help but think if he was still around, that Apple would not be. They would have not had to do a deal to upgrade their AI. They would have been on the forefront. They would have been leading here. They just.
How is it not already on our phones?
Well, it's because
Apple AI.
Because
it should be completely taken over. If Steve Jobs was here already, I feel like he would be at the forefront of this.
He would.
Everything on iPhone would be, oh, you just got an email? Do you want to set up how to automate your email? Do you want to set up how to do this? I feel like Apple and Microsoft and NVIDIA have taken the biggest tumbles in Web 2 or traditional finance history I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think the simple answer is Steve was a visionary and saw things happening before they happened. Not just blowing smoke, like he did this multiple times. Steve was a visionary. Tim Cook is a great CEO for logistics and operations. He's arguably the greatest logistics CEO on the planet. He's just not necessarily a visionary. He's an operator, whereas Steve was a visionary. And I think this sort of stuff, especially we're talking cutting edge, and you got to make tough decisions. It's the I'm going to go to Von Front because he'll help me think of the phrase. It's slipping my brain, but the where you have to. What's the dilemma? It's not the prisoner's dilemma. What am I trying to think? What phrase am I trying to think of here, Von Front? The inventor's dilemma. Is that it?
Innovator's dilemma.
Innovator's dilemma. Yes. You know, it's like, hey, do I change something that's going to eat my current business, but it gives me a chance to future-proof and get ahead, or do I keep status quo and just continually, gradually bleed out to these startups? Helpful Soul adds Perplexity Comet is amazing for their search bar web address integration. Maybe this is an embarrassing tell. I don't know if I use Perplexity, but maybe once to just play around on their site. It's definitely not in my day to day, like Claude and.
Sorry to interrupt. Perplexity is fantastic. You get it for free as well through PayPal. I don't know. I'm a student, so I
What's the
see
deal with
in the
PayPal?
chat that they're talking about.
What's the deal with PayPal? Why are you getting all these? Why are you getting Gemini and Perplexity free for having a PayPal account?
It just says it through the PayPal app. It'll have it in the offers.
It's not PayPal. I just did a Google search because I have PayPal too. It's for university students get it for free by connecting their PayPal.
Got you. Okay, so that's my bad to everyone here. I am a student.
But that's awesome. I mean, that's awesome for
sorry
students.
if I'm giving misinformation.
It's all good. No, I appreciate you sharing because that's awesome for students, and students should be using this stuff. There's a lot of, especially in the K through 12, there's a lot of schools that went anti-AI, and it's frustrating. It's like education's been primed for disruption for a while, but now they're going backwards, and it's sad to see because they're doing their students an injustice. Let's go to Von Frunten and then Oxy, and I'm going to go refill the coffee. I'll be right back. Von Frunten, I can hear you. Hand it off once you're done. Hand it off to Oxy, and I'll be right back.
All right, thanks, Cap. GM, everybody,
and happy birthday, Von Frunten. Everyone give Von Frunten some birthday love.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday, Von Frunten.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so on the AI thing, there are a couple things that I'm actually I'll get into how I'm going to make my $10 million charging Joey to set up his cloud bot. Just one transaction, Joey. That's your price.
You would charge me a flat fee and then a percentage of all my revenue generated from it.
Oh dear God, I don't even like that. I'm getting. Yeah, that sounds gross. I forget which one was saying they were going to start charging people for the percentage of the stuff they built on it. But no. So first to Cap, to your conciseness, yes, you can keep prompting it and saying be concise, 5 words, 1 sentence, 2 sentence. There's also settings that you can do this. So I actually, and it's just basic. Go to ChatGPT, go to settings. I forget where it is. But you tell it like, hey, how do you want me to talk to you? Any instructions? Like, I tell it not to glaze me. I tell it to be ridiculously direct and objective, and don't tell me how great and how smart I am. Tell me the real truth. I haven't gotten to the concise thing yet, but you can put that in there, and I've found it's surprisingly helpful, especially with how I use it. I'm in the same thing. ChatGPT's got 2 almost 3 years of history on me. I've done the export, the CSV file. I've done the specifically for how I use it for my company. Like, I need you to now export everything about marketing that I've done with the company, everything about product development, everything about strategy, everything about insert here, right? And ported that over, and it works pretty fine actually. So it's like, so you can definitely move between one to the other more than not, but the memory in ChatGPT, I still use it. It's like the thing with I wanted to get to with all of the models. I don't know if there's one that just is like the ones I've been looking for. One-stop shopping for 2+ years now, and to be honest, I don't know if it's there. Depending on what you want to use it for, right? So Perplexity, amazing at research, maybe one of the best from a research standpoint, right? But if I need it to help me, vibe code or something, well, that's not its thing. It picked a niche to go be the research engine, and it's going to do that incredibly well. Claude, like, I use Claude for anything development, dev code design related now, right? Claude is my go-to. I have Claude code running in Cursor. I use Opus 4.5 as the model. Like, it is there. I will never use anything else for that, right? Google, to Ian's point, or Gemini, it's tapped into Google, right? Like, it's pulling up YouTube videos. It has the power of Google search behind it, and the Google ecosystem that it can plug in everything, right? If you run your business off Google Workspace, Gemini is great because it just automatically integrates in every single thing that you do. So I don't know if there's one. I don't use Perplexity, but I use all the others for various things. It's not perfect. They don't have a shared context yet, but I think we're going to get there. The fun thing, and this is what I plan to be using CloudBot for when I set it up later today, because I had an old Mac Mini lying around, is starting to build that context elsewhere. So, for example, I was starting to build some stuff out for my company before CloudBot, just using Cloud Code last week. And it was like, hey, we could put this, I see you've used Google Sheets or Google Docs or whatever before, that can be your memory. I was like, yeah, is there a better way to do this though? And it said, well, like, you don't have to do this. It could, and I'm paraphrasing the robot here. Like, why don't we just build you your own database and it'll go live out in your GitHub and we'll just store everything there. That way you're platform independent and also it's in the same repo as everything you're doing. You don't need to be relying on, did the AI remember this or not? It's just going to, like, it's there. So again, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I do recommend playing with it no matter where you are in your AI journey. Um, Play with it, figure it out. Because I think the last point that I'll make is it's coming for our jobs, right? And not every job, and it's not just the plumbers or the carpenters or the people who do, like, literally a robot can't do it or are safe. I do believe that. I believe that it's going to force us all to be better at whatever it is that we do, right? So in the same way that I used to need to be a really good artist with my hands in order to make it as an artist. And then things like Photoshop came around. And now I didn't necessarily have to be an artist with my hands. I could be an artist with other tools, right? It's going to be another set of tools that are going to make everybody better at what they do. And if you aren't using the tools to get better at what you do, whatever it is that you do, then somebody who's not as good as you right now will use the tools and pass you. So I do recommend everybody find a way to use it. Like, it's not the magical clickbait stuff that you see on social media of like, hey, I did this one simple prompt, make no mistakes, and boom, here's my $10 million business. It's not that. And I will stand on business. If anybody is saying that, they're just saying that to get you to read their content and click on their stuff, right? But it can help you if you learn with it, if you take the time. It can help you to be better at whatever it is that you're doing so that you continue to have that edge. And whether it's a company or another startup pops up to kind of do what you're doing, you're still going to have that edge because you're going to have your human expertise, your human touch, aided by all the power of AI behind it so that it'll make whatever you do better, faster, whatever. So I will end on that very long-winded note. Appreciate all the birthday love, everybody.
Yeah, no, great takes. And I agree. I think almost everything except for, I know that, like, I even saw Gary in the chat room, like, AI is coming for our jobs. AI is coming for your job. It's going to come for some jobs. I also think for a lot of people, it's just going to help them do their jobs a lot better. It's going to 10x a lot of humans. And I think just what Oxy was describing earlier, that if I'm interviewing someone, I'd rather them know how to work with Claude or fill in the AI to code than just be a programmer themselves. Like, that's the way the world's heading. Like, who is working towards where we're going, not where we've been. And I think it's not to be cheesy, but it's not that AI is going to take your job. Someone using AI is. Someone using an army of Claude bots or AI agents is likely to take your job because they're going to be getting down 10 times the amount of work that you are. It's just reality. Like, you're just not going to be as competitive if you're not using these tools. Let's go back, Von Front, for a response, and we'll go back to the auditor.
Yeah, and let me clarify. I don't think it is there's going to be a server farm of Mac Minis that are going to be replacing entire departments, right? But I'll be honest, like, I think me and my Mac Mini, I will do work as an individual that if I didn't have that skill set, I would have had to earn those tools. I would have had to go hire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more people, right? So in that instance, my Mac Mini just came for the jobs of 4 people who I now don't have to hire. And so you could argue, is it the AI that took the job? Is it me using the AI that took the job? Whatever, however you want to define it. But I do think that for a lot of the things, and again, it's very like, I saw there was an interview with Elon. It was like, if you can do something, whatever you do, if you can do it at a computer, right? Respond to emails, schedule meetings, do things like that. AI is starting to do that. That's what Claudebot is. I'm gonna hire a quote unquote person, give it access to a computer, give it its own email address, give it its own whatever, and just talk to it and say, hey, I need this, right? That's a human that it just replaced. I do think there is some of that will happen. And so that's why, like me personally, I'm trying to learn like crazy how to use all this stuff, because I never want to be on the receiving end of that conversation where it's like, hey, somebody plus AI can now do what they otherwise would have hired you to do, and you're no longer needed. So that's the thing that, like, that's my kind of like, not, I don't want to be super dramatic and say like it, it's the robots are coming for you, right? But I will just like, I can't say this enough, and I know I've said this for years on this show, like, go out there and figure this stuff out, right? Get beyond using ChatGPT as fancy Google. Go learn how to use these tools in like whatever small way you can. I guarantee you, like, you will find a way to be better at whatever it is that you're doing. And you will just further insulate yourself from whoever is coming up behind you, who is learning these tools. You will stay ahead of them.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I also saw a few, like Otis, Old Hatter in the chat says, people who use AI will replace those who don't. He's quoting me, said is advice in the short term that we've known for every year. Eventually, everyone will be replaced. AI and robots will get increasingly better over time. To think you will always have a way to be safe is so human of you. I agree. I guess let me rephrase. In the short term, I also saw Gary added a video clip of the Anthropic CEO, his talk at the World Economic Forum, and says we might be 6 to 12 months away from models doing all of what software engineers do end to end. Again, I don't disagree. I think, though, the timeline for the complete, singularity or the complete robot takeover is years, not 6 to 12 months away. Maybe I'm wrong, but even once we get there, I still think unless robots completely take over the world, you're still going to have a group of humans operating, driving, giving orders, directing these robots. And I think that's a while. I think potentially maybe, not saying for sure, maybe like the rest of my lifetime, unless the nanobots do come sooner than later and I can live to be beyond 120. It's a different story, but I want to own these robots. I own one today. I fully expect, within the next couple of years, maybe the next year, my Tesla will be out there earning money for me. Like there's going to be ways that humans your job might be owning and directing robots. Like, to me, that is a very realistic outcome, is beyond just the coding and doing tasks on the internet. There's still real world physical things. You've been on the show before. You've heard me talk about experiential retail, and like people are still going to want places to do, things to do. People are going to, I think the interacting with humans is going to become increasingly in demand. I think real human art, I think even already today, if you listen to like, I don't know if it's, I don't know, one of the big podcast networks, their whole, I don't want to say, it's not iHeartRadio, it's one of the big podcast networks. Their whole thing already is like wholly human or human. Like basically they're saying like, if you're listening to one of our podcasts, you're only going to hear humans. We're not doing any AI podcasts. I think there's going to be more of that. And so I do think, I don't think all jobs are going to be eliminated. Are some? Yeah. But just like I showed the clip, there was a time in human history within the last few hundred years where firewood was a quarter of the GDP in the US. There was times where people thought the world was ending. All jobs are going to be eliminated when Henry Ford introduced the automobile. Their taxi drivers thought their lives were over when Uber came out. Now a lot of them just drive for Uber and they make more, they get more gigs, get more money. Like it's like world changes. And this isn't the first time due to technology. I get that. Yes, a lot of jobs, a lot of society is going to change. I don't think it's doom and gloom for humans. I don't think humans are just going to become subservient to our robot overlords. Maybe someday. I just don't think it's happening in the next 6 to 12 months. Might they be able to code end to end and do a lot? Yeah, I do think that. But I don't think this automatically they're going to just take all the jobs immediately. Now, I do think a lot of these large companies, their workforce are going to get cut significantly because the robots are just more effective. But there's still going to be humans leading and directing and giving orders to these robots for at least the next few years. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it goes a lot faster than I'm thinking. But I don't think the group of humans at the top is going to be extremely small. But I do think those who are head in the sand and ignoring this now, I think they're going to be the ones that are going to be struggling to figure out what the hell do I do if they've not already started to work on how can I work with these robots? How can I get these robots working for me? Opportunist says, I sent Grok pictures of all the job sites I do tile at. I'm safe from robots and AI for another 10 years easy, but have to start saving to buy one anyways to keep up with the new direction. I don't know if 10 years. 10 years is probably a stretch. Yeah, they're improving at such a rapid clip, and I think if you've used these LLMs, if you've used these chatbots, if you've used things that are connected to the internet, you get a glimpse of that. I'm not being a homer and plugging Tesla. If you've owned a Tesla for more than 6 months, not even, if you've owned a Tesla for 3 months, you've seen how fast the evolution. It's mind blowing. I bought my Tesla in November. It's basically been not even 3 months yet. And it has gotten 50% better, maybe 100% better in 3 months. Like it's mind blowing. Like I get an over the air update maybe every week on average. It's insane how quickly, and because they learn so fast, it's the Moore's law on steroids. Let's go back to Jack, and then we will get into the next topic.
Oh, I was double muted. Yeah, apologies, Cap. I missed about 20 minutes of that conversation. I had a meeting to run into, but where I am at is I don't think the robots thing is for everybody. And the reason that I say this, because I love this idea of, you've got a Tesla, it goes and it basically does Uber rides for you, and maybe it pays the lease. It's not going to be ridiculous, but you have a car available to you and the lease is basically covered because the Tesla goes and basically pays off that lease. I will just say from my own experience, we're not all ready. That's the only thing I'll say. I saw the Claude bot news and was excited about it as everyone else. Another reason to buy a new Apple product. Amazing. Yes, of course, I'm in. You don't have to tell me anymore. I then run to Apple, get this Mac Mini, run back home, super nerding out, can't wait to put this in. I've never seen so many error messages in my life, Cap. It's supposed to be copy, paste code into terminal. Didn't know what terminal was before AI, but paste into terminal and away you go. Error message after error message. I still haven't figured it out entirely. So I'm now just sat here with a Mac Mini that is just looking at me more and more guiltily by the day. I'm now having to ask ChatGPT how to actually fix the error messages that it's bringing me, because I asked Claude and Claude basically told me to go screw myself because it's not an official product that is connected to Claude. ChatGPT is now helping me, which I'm just riddled with guilt about, because it's like asking your current girlfriend, how do I get with my new crush over it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know. I will let you know if I ever do get Claude bot up and functional. But my point being that, look, working with robots, doing all this cool tech stuff with AI, it's not for everyone, or it's not for everyone yet, because
that's it. The last part you said is what I was going to come over the topic. I was going to say yet. It's not for everyone yet. It's still alpha. It's still pre-beta. It's still the cutting edge. And my overarching point is it's going to get better, not in years. It's going to be better next week than it is today. It's going to be significantly better a month from now. It's going like a year from now. You'll laugh at how difficult it was today. And it is possible. People are doing things with it today. It's going to, the speed of evolution in the world of robots and AI is going to be like, I think, unlike anything we've ever experienced in human history. Maybe that's too far out there. Maybe that's.
No, I think you're right. I think you're dead right. I'm so excited. Like we've talked about this before, right? About the FOMO of not really hitting the .com era when it first, really spiked, like not being able to be in a garage for Apple or Google or Intel or whatever. I think actually now I have the opposite of FOMO. I'm like, thank God I was born when I was born, because this is going to be like the .com era on steroids. And not steroids back in the 80s, 90s when people didn't know what they were doing, but steroids as they are today, where they literally can turn you into superhuman if you wanted to.
I agree. It's the .com on peptides, as the kids would say nowadays. Ian, my apologies. I lost the hand. X is just doing X things, but we're going to go right back to you. And then I've got another. You don't have to go rush out and buy a Mac Mini. There's other ways to run a Claude bot if you
Thank you. Yeah, there was one thing when you and Vaughn were talking, like my thesis falls somewhere in the middle. So I think again, I agree. People are going to be running these AI, right? That's what the general thought is. My thesis, though, right now, Elon Musk has a private kind of project called Macro Hard, and it's AI agents running the company itself. It's a super awesome and kind of unique kind of project that he's running. It's kind of Microsoft, but if it's built by AI itself. So it could either go two ways, in my opinion. I think AI could either like doom or gloom sci-fi world, which I think eventually something has to happen where an AI is going to fuck up so bad that people are going to have to kind of do what Cap said, kind of rein in a little bit and set up guardrails, set up those regulations in law, and then like have dedicated people to look over the AI. But 90% of people are going to be wiped out of the job market, and I think universal basic income is a necessity at that point. And then on the second part of my thesis in that is Anduril. Anduril is the company from Palmer Luckey right now who's doing anonymous warfare and AI warfare. I don't think we're going to have even humans dying on battlefields anymore. It's going to be AI. I think that's going to completely change even more of the current landscape. And I haven't even deep dove into my own mind and what that means when soldiers are just no longer needed and just kind of thrown to the wayside. I think maybe universal basic income, but macro hard is a name to be on the lookout for. I would definitely suggest you guys hearing out for that. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm lost in it too.
So I agree, and I always thought universal basic income was a dumb idea. It was like way too out there. To me, in my head, it seemed like a handout. Like I don't want to work for other people to not work. Like I always assume, but I do think as this progresses, I'm more and more thinking it very well could be a especially if those that are super AI optimistic, if their best case scenario comes true, then yeah, like we should live in a world of abundance. It's a wide range of outcomes, and I think like not only is this going to accelerate unlike anything we've seen in the past. I think all society changes. Like we lived through the .com era, we lived through the smartphone era, and things change a lot in society as a result of a couple of technologies. This I think trumps all of them, and it's going to be really interesting to see how things progress. And I think the worst thing you could do is just ignore it all, put your head in the sand, and think like nothing's changing. I'm certain things are changing. I'm 99.9% of that. Like society is changing pretty rapidly, and the worst thing you can do is ignore it. Jack, we'll get back to you in a second. Here's a couple of quick shares. Like I said, you don't need to run a Mac Mini to run a Claude bot. Here's some other options. You could run it off a Raspberry Pi. You could run it off of an old laptop or desktop you have around. It's not that it doesn't require a lot to run. And then sorry, I was sharing the wrong tab. Here's that thing I was just talking about. I pinned that up top from Jumpers. Shout out to Joey for sharing that. And then the other thing I wanted to share real quick, I also pinned this up top, the Exponential Age, an article shared by Keep Fishing. Says, not sure if you've seen this, but in his opinion, required reading for parents of young kids. Thanks for sharing. Let's go back to Jack, and then we're going to talk about crime season and Nifty Gateway coming to an end here momentarily.
Yeah, look, again, just really love this conversation around where this all ends out. I think for me, yeah, maybe base income. I've heard Bill Gates say that we're basically going to have to tax the AI agents themselves. Like if AI agents basically take everybody's jobs, then the only logical solution is that they also get taxed and they have to pay their way, because otherwise, how are you going to get a sustainable universal income if it's just like this monopoly? I do wonder if, there was some, I don't know if it was pure competitive like espionage, but this rumor that came out that ChatGPT was going to start charging people for like ideas that basically get monetized through OpenAI. Like that to me would only logically make sense if that money doesn't just go to OpenAI's back pocket, but they essentially use that is as this like sort of universal income support, or like this support structure that does mean that people can not work for as long. I think that's the only thing I can think of that's going to solve it, though.
I think that was also another reason to get off of OpenAI if it is the one you use primarily. You don't have to get off it, but to start using others, because that just I am, maybe they're not cooked, but it seems to me, from my very non-expert opinion, that Anthropic, that Gemini, even Grok have really lapped ChatGPT and OpenAI in particular, and they're bleeding money. I don't think Sam Altman is really well liked, and not that I say the same about Elon, I guess, but I just I think that another reason not to go to ChatGPT or be fully reliant on it is, imagine you come up with the greatest, you cure cancer, and ChatGPT is like, oh, that's ours. That's our idea. We did that. Anyways, I digress. Old Hatter says, universal income helps, but also has issues. Number one, do we believe 1% will actually share with the rest of us on the point of humans not needed on the battlefield because robots can go? Does anyone else agree that would end up in more war? Probably does end up in more war, unfortunately. But I also am all for the ending of unnatural human death. And I think things like not sending humans to the front line is a big start in that. I think things like not having humans drive distractedly on the road is another big win for drastically mitigating the end of unnatural deaths. We're not there yet, but I am a perma optimist, and one of the things I'm optimistic for is longer lifespan and better medicine, better technology, and the end of things that are unnecessary. Here is hard pivot into crypto crime season and Nifty Gateway ending. First, we're going to hit Nifty Gateway because not a whole lot to add other than if you have assets on there, make sure you get them off. I was trying to log in to show an example, but a very centralized platform. I had send me a code to my email, and it just was taking me a few seconds. So maybe I'll pull that up here in a minute. But this was the announcement that came out on, I guess, Friday, 9:30 p.m. Imagine that. Let's just start there. If you guys have been here, you're well familiar with Steve K. Bark, our co-host here for 1,000 episodes plus. Comes from a background in marketing, comms, and PR, and went to go carry that leadership role at OpenSea. Big win for OpenSea. Shortly after, Coinbase added Base was hiring for the similar position. I think many more Web3 crypto native brands would benefit from the same. Nifty Gateway being one here. It's one thing to do a news dump on a Friday afternoon. To do a news dump that's a critical, like mission critical, like PSA at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on a Friday. What are you doing? And then to give people a month, it's just it upset me. I have a few assets on there. Nothing it's definitely not life-changing money. It's just really poor. For they were ones that were really one of the first, and oh, by the way, they're owned by Gemini. Like, they have funding. Leave your thing up for a while, or better yet, provide a better experience. It's awful. You have to. They're forcing KYC. It's just like, this whole thing is a train wreck. So don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till February 23rd. If you have assets on there, go get them out sooner than later. It's in withdrawal only mode. They launched in 2020 with a vision of revolutionized digital art. Since launching, Nifty supported dozens of innovative drops and brought new creative experiences to life. Incredibly proud of the work the Nifty team has pioneered, and grateful to Nifty Gateway's customers and artists for joining us on this journey. Customers with the current balance of USD or ETH or who hold NFTs will be notified by email with instructions of moving their assets off the Nifty platform. Reach out to support@niftygateway.com with any questions. That's it. just a when you go, here's what you see. Nifty Gateway is shutting down. Withdrawal NFTs, withdrawal assets. I click withdraw NFTs. The only ones I see on there are the faces that I mentioned earlier. These were my two of my first NFT mints. But I also participated in Starbucks Odyssey, and I thought I would have. I thought those were on there. I'm not seeing any Starbucks Odyssey assets on the Nifty Gateway wallet. It just appears to be these two. But I saw a couple people in the chat that were sad about Nifty Gateway due to their Starbucks Odyssey NFTs. It's a process. I don't think there's any batch out. So if you got more than two, good luck. Speaking of, we're gonna talk about crypto crime season ending quickly. But speaking about processes, my eyes were bleeding this morning. I unboxed my 12 BIRB vinyls so I could get the soulbound tokens because the TGE is coming up soon, and I'm not knocking them. It's actually, the packaging's nice. It's nicely done. The vinyls are wrapped in packaging inside. There's another. Open it up. There's the vinyl. The BIRB itself is in a plastic baggie, and then you have a card pack that you open it up, and there's a couple cards in there. So for the most part, one has a QR code on it. The other is a card. I still struggle in reverse the mirroring when I'm looking at video. Some of the cards, like you can see this one, they're a little holographic. I thought, okay, that must be a good one. That must be like a silver or gold or diamond SPT. Some of them were, but then I also pulled out some regular ones that ended up in a different level. So I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason, or if it was just a complete RNG draw on did you get a gold, a bronze, a silver, a gold, or a diamond SPT. I'm not sure if there's other levels or not. I ended up, I think, some pretty decent pulls. I really don't know. I didn't pull anything like any numbered cards like I think Joey got. But since we hit on this, I'll fly over it, and then we will jump into the crypto crime season ending. This was here's a diamond soulbound token. So I guess like some cool art. There's a gold one. There's a silver one. Whatever. I don't really care. I just wanted the tokens. But the China vinyl fumes were getting to me this morning. I had to put eye drops in before the show because it felt like my eyes were watering. I was getting nauseous. I feel for anyone like Cirrus who went out and had like hundreds of these things to unbox. It was like almost executed really well. The packaging, everything was nice, but it was very clunky. The first one claimed it was pretty smooth, and then the second one kept giving me errors. I finally had to figure the workaround. By the way, once you scan the QR code, it kept prompting download the Phantom wallet. Well, I already had Phantom wallet installed on that phone. The hack, the workaround, you have to hit back twice on the browser to get back to the claim screen. And then maybe you can claim on mobile. I would just copy, after that, I would just copy the URL, paste it, copy it from my iPhone, paste it to my MacBook, and claim from there. But do that. If you bought those boxes, I think it's in your best interest to probably claim sooner than later. The TGE is in 2 days, if I'm not mistaken. And you if you bought those vinyls for the token, you don't want to miss that. You got a couple days. Clock is ticking. Maria adds, regarding Nifty, I was successfully able to draw one NFT, but after that, I kept getting withdrawal failed. I'm hoping it works. All my Starbucks Odyssey NFTs are there. Yeah, that was my experience with the BIRB unboxing as well until I figured it out. And then one of my 12 didn't even have a card in it, so I'll reach out to the team to see if hopefully they'll make that right. But I don't know, man. I'm not knocking them. I'm not fudding them. I'm kind of done with the whole BIRB thing. I was excited for a while. I was excited after Spencer took over, and I know markets are markets, and they probably did the right thing.
Alexa, set a timer for 3:50.
What's that? I missed you, Jack.
Sorry, my bad. I was setting an alarm for Alexa. I must have unmuted myself at the same time.
So the question is, what's at 3:50?
My show with goodies is on at 4, and how good would that be if that was my way of like shilling a show without shilling a show?
Tune into goodies at 4. Or if you want to be early, set your alarm for 3:50 so you don't forget it. Here's what I pulled: the 11 of the 12 that I got. 1 diamond, 1 gold, 1, 2, 3, 4 silvers. So half the box was above bronze. I'll take it, I think. I just hope these things are worth more than $25 I paid for the vinyls because I don't know what I'll do with the vinyls. I really don't want 12 BIRB vinyls in my background, but we'll figure something out. My eyes are still burning quite a bit though. And this is probably also a little bit PTSD because my prior to going full time in crypto and Web3, I was building a phone repair franchise. In the early days of that, I was importing phone repair parts, and I dealt a lot with Shenzhen and the yellow tape they wrap this stuff in, and the fumes got to me a couple times. So I'm sure there's some of my brain is just, as soon as I get any sort of fumes from China, I PTSD kicks in and like, here we go again. I digress. On to more important things. Actually, before we talk about the Zach's XBT expose, because that's maybe a little more important than Trove. Here was the latest on Trove for those who are following along or got burnt by that ICO. This guy Bronzy says, was planning to stay in my own lane and let karma deal with them. But unfortunately, the scammers behind Trove markets have dragged it on far too long for my liking. Says, dear Trove founders, I know your history, your last rugs, your old team, your dev, your tactics, your parents, and who you are. The images circulating around showing the team are not the guys who rug Trove. Those are the guys that invested a lot of money and found passion showing up at events and share the passion for Trove with others. They find humor in blaming innocent people. All their past rugs have been blamed on random investors. Has happened before in message big reporters like Zach from alt accounts acting like insider that has their docs. I don't know if your parents know what you're doing, but I assume not. Being Asian immigrants living in the UK with beautiful local business, you would not expect your two sons to end up ruining people's lives for their own financial gain. Now, let me keep it short. 48 hours is all you have. You know where to find me. A full thread of passports and names, along with evidence I have about what comes next. The timer starts now. I don't encourage anyone to dox people, out people, their families. I also think the crime needs to stop. People need to be held accountable. It goes beyond just crypto, but people need to be held accountable. Otherwise, they're going to continue to do it. And in a more crazy turn of events, there was last week. Zach shared this. This is the second one. This is a more recent one, but there's a group that basically they're known scammers and they share their scams with everyone. They go around and long story short, one of the scammers in there was I'll go back and read the original article here. Meet the threat actor John, and in parentheses Lick, who was caught flexing $23 million in a wallet address directly tied to $90 million in suspected thefts from the U.S. government in 2024 and multiple other unidentified victims from November to December of 25. Earlier today, John got in a heated argument with another threat actor known as Drayton Capellini Jr. in a group chat to see who had more funds in crypto wallets. The COM, as this is known for, is band for band, B for B. However, the entire interaction was fully recorded. The COM, someone did a video on this recently. I don't want to call it a documentary, but it was a video. I think it hit YouTube. Maybe it was here on X. They talked to some people who are members of the COM, and again, they're a group of people. Their community is scamming people and crypto primarily, and then flexing on it. And then this guy got called out. Part one, the recording shows Drayton mocks John. However, John screen shares Exodus wallet, which shows Tron address with 2.3 million. Part two, Triton continues to mock John while another 6.7 million of ETH is moved to wallet address below. After the band for band was done, John had moved 23 million to this address. The recording captures John clearly controls both addresses. Additional addresses can likely be found from the recordings. They then began tracking backwards to verify the source of funds. And long story short, the source of funds was 24.9 million from U.S. government addresses in March of 24, related to Bitfinex hack seizures, which is a theft from the USG I previously reported about in October 24. He follows that up. Then I guess this was yesterday morning, and says, in case you're curious how John Lick was able to steal 40 million from the U.S. government seizures addresses, his dad owns CMDSS, which currently has an active IT government contract in Virginia. CMMDS was awarded a contract to assist USMS in managing disposing of seized, forfeited crypto assets. It still remains unclear to this point how John obtained access from his dad. Holy moly. Long story short, the TLDR on that one, this crypto scammer's dad is a government contractor responsible for assisting the U.S. government in managing and disposing of seized and forfeited crypto assets. The Sun clearly gets access somehow and steals said funds. Like, what a train wreck. I have to imagine that immediate action needs to be taken here. I got to imagine that the dad is getting in some trouble on this as well. Who knows the extent of this, but this stuff, there needs to be consequences. The crime needs to stop. And I hope, I hope at least criminals start to think twice before continuing to just, and I think the audacity of how they're doing it is part of the mind-blowing thing to me is stealing funds from the government and then bragging about your funds. Like, what are these people? Like, if you're going to be a criminal, at least be a good criminal. Like, what are they thinking? It's just, the whole thing is mind-blowing to me. And I hope the silver lining is we see less crime in the future as a result of some people getting popped here, but TBD. And that's, I guess, if anyone has any comments, thoughts, hopefully no one directly is impacted by either of these. We can hit on it, but no guest not going to make it today. So the other long delayed market update beyond the crime season ending. Ian, did you have a hand up? I didn't see anything.
No, I didn't, brother.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just throwing a thumbs down. Sorry about the guest.
No, all good. All good. We'll see if we can at least get the giveaway for future state. Other news items of the day, more market related here. If you're on X over the weekend, Diablito says crime season isn't about to stop. It starts at the top. They're thinking they won't get caught, and history has shown there's not a lot of punishment. And this is what I'm hoping. Like, they have to get punished here. Like, this is not just stealing from some Anon's crypto wallet. This is stealing from the U.S. government. Like, what are we doing if the feds can't put an end to this and someone receives some pretty severe consequences? Katie also adds, I have 30 Starbucks stamps to withdraw. Good luck to everyone trying to get your assets out of Nifty Gateway. Just seriously, don't delay. Go do this now. You'll probably, everyone I know that's done it, like, oh, I get one, then I have some issues, or I had a KYC. It's just not as smooth as it should be. And yeah, don't wait till the end to go do this. But the other thing you saw, in addition to Claudbot over the weekend, if you're on X, was the White House intern, very much so into the world of memes. Started with Embrace the Penguin. This sent the penguin meme running, not Pingu. Although there was a lot of celebratory. You'll probably see the first few comments. Yeah, Luca's number one on my end. You're the penguin. Embrace the penguin. To which then Pump Fun says, embrace the trenches, embrace the penguin. Law, underrated here, might have had the best animated GIF in the comments. But of course, we get a testicle shout out Crocs. So a lot of embrace the penguins, but the reality is it was not Pingu, rather penguin meme. And I don't know how you say it. This one here. I know how you say it, but it's a long meme. I think the meme was created like 19 years ago or something. The video of this penguin running away from the pack. Why? I don't know the cause of why it went. I mean, I know this is because the White House tweeted out, but why it got brought back now, I don't know. And it wasn't just the White House tweeting it and then retweeting it. It was several other politicians got in. You know, I think RF Kennedy tweeted one with the penguin and talking about make America healthy again. It's pulling back. It may be over. It's down 29% on the day. It's still $77 million market cap. You can see it ran up to almost 150 million. So I share because I don't know. Maybe it's not back, but I don't remember last time we had a $100 million runner, and this one definitely hit. Token was created. Is it? Oh, 9 days ago. So pair was created 9 days ago and ran to 100 million pretty quickly. Pretty impressive. Ran to a million in a week. 100 million over in a week is pretty impressive. I haven't seen that for a while. You also saw Claude. It's up to almost 10 million. This was created a month ago and is now running. So off the back of Claudebot. And Peter, the creator of Claudebot, said he doesn't support the meme, but yet it's still running up. I'm not saying the trenches are back, but we haven't seen a runner like that for a minute. I'm not saying go rush and start buying a bunch of memes, but might be something to pay attention to. What I can speak a little more intelligently to are the NFTs that have been running. I mentioned Rec Drinks, X Games, and MoonPay. those Del Mundos that ripped up, heavy metals up to 0.14. There is seemingly, despite majors chopping and Bitcoin and gold, or Bitcoin and ETH getting lapped by gold and silver, and fear and greed being sub 30, there's some momentum. Maybe it doesn't last. Maybe it's all short lived. Maybe it rotates into others, back to rare metals and TradFi equity soon. But I don't know. Feels like something is maybe it is truly a one off, but feels a little different for memes and NFTs over the weekend. Jack, was it just a weekend blurb, or do you think something might be back when it comes to the alt area of crypto?
That's a really good question. I think I was trying to find it as you were speaking there, but there's the post from Easy about Coinbase basically integrated now, where it allows Sol meme coin purchases straight off of Coinbase, like fully integrated.
Oh,
so
interesting.
I'll find that post, but that is definitely something.
I got it.
Perfect. So yeah, that's a W. I think the Penguin in itself, if you need more of a connection to, venturing out to almost your inevitable demise because you've got to get to the top of the mountain, I don't know if there's a better one for crypto. So I'm not surprised that ran as well as it did. I know it's like quite heavily down now from its all-time high. In terms of like what this means long term, like, is this, I think it's too early to tell. Like, we need something else. We need that was a potential. We need a confirmation of if this is actually more excitement injected into the space. But I did an interview with Spencer, who's obviously one of the best traders in the game before he did take over Moonbirds, and I think a lot of people overtrade, and I think this has just been one of the best W's, the most obvious W's in the space since Trump, before he went and dropped Melania. So I think this also might just be a maturing of the space. So if nothing else does run immediately, I'm not sure I would necessarily see that as a bad indicator for the space as it maybe some others would see it as.
Yeah, good take. I was sharing Easy's tweet here. Thankfully, you didn't get my video in full screen, because if you missed it, I took a big swig of coffee. I was near the end, and I got a mouthful of coffee grounds. So there's how my morning's going. Someone filled the coffee up, not great. The grounds leaked over my coffee and was unbeknownst to me, and I don't even have any water to rush it down with. So we're chewing on coffee grinds the rest of the show. That says, Easy goes, funny now that for whatever reason, just now the trenches have realized this is happening. Coinbase opening up Solana to an entire world of individuals is bullish for the trenches to heat back up, purely because there's not a need now for the use of trading tools or terminals. They don't even need a Phantom wallet. They can quite literally just buy any meme from a place they trust and feel comfortable with. He's quote tweeting a post from Coinbase on January 23rd, says chain integration complete. Now you can trade millions of Solana tokens on Coinbase, live for all users in the US except New York and Brazil. So it's live in the US and Brazil. I would be curious when that's going to go live globally. But yeah, certainly. I mean, I remember when a tier one Coinbase listing used to send a meme. We're way past those days, but now you don't need a tier one listing. Now they can trade right from Coinbase. Maybe that's part of what drove this. Maybe. I'm just not sure there's a lot of Coinbase customers who aren't already in the trenches, who don't already have a Phantom wallet, that are interested in trading memes, but maybe I'm wrong. Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, to me, this is a disgusting move. I'm on the opposite end. I think Coinbase, to me, should be like an entryway for the normies to come in. And I think their last earnings failed so fucking miserably. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. Failed so miserably that they're just trying to grab whatever fees they can. So they're all open to opening the casino within Coinbase now, especially if they see the administration doesn't really care. They're like, oh, let's just turn on all the fees and let's scam all these people who thought Coinbase was a reputable company, and let's put all of our old money into Bitcoin. Oh, let's see, there's a Penguin coin I really like. Now, these people who have no knowledge on crypto Twitter, no knowledge on any of the memes, can now just get their money stolen. That's so bullish for everyone, right? No, it's not. We're trying to bring people into the community, not get their assets stolen just so individuals can be wealthy. I think it should be like a betterment for society. At least that's what I got into crypto for, is a financial system to become different, not to just enrich other people.
Yeah,
And
I
to me,
agree.
it just looks like a cash grab, in all honesty. I like that Coinbase is opening up and allowing other coins to be traded there, and it's your risk. But if Coinbase is the first introduction that many normies see, now they're just at just full risk just to get mopped up, never come back to the uh, crypto sphere again, and just completely like say it is a scam. We already have that enough. I think Coinbase to me should be fully 100% regulated, go 100% by the books, and be just a custodial. But that's just my. I know it's a business. Businesses run differently. They have to bring in revenue. But to me, that's disgusting that they're just bringing in revenue off of fees of basically losers who are gambling.
Yeah, I guess for me personally, I understand your take. I'm not trying to downplay it. It's not that deep. I hear you. I too am here because I think crypto can be on blockchain tech. Crypto can be world changing, not a grader's fool. And who's gonna buy this vapor or this meme that's likely going to go to zero. That said, if others are doing it, like, and they are a business that's it's important for them to generate real revenues, like trading is one way to do it. Now, that said, while I think OpenAI is getting lapped by some of their competitors, I'm starting to feel more and more that Robinhood is getting lapping Coinbase. In fact, I don't think I have a Robinhood account. If I did, I opened it up years ago. I don't have any funds over there. And on my to-do list this week is open up a Robinhood account and see if I can backdoor an IRA and get that 3% bonus. I wasn't aware of this until you shared in the war room over the weekend. But to me personally, it seems as if Robinhood is doing new things. They're getting out front. They're experimenting. They're leading, doing things differently. Coinbase seems a little more reactive in their major moves. So it's going to be really interesting how this shakes out. I don't know if the end of the world that they turn on trading because it's not like it couldn't be done previously. Yeah, did they have to go jump through some extra hoops? I think maybe it comes down to like the marketing. If they start shilling stuff from their main account, then I probably side with you. Like, what are you doing? Like, talk about some of the important stuff you're doing. And I say this because I do think Brian Armstrong is actually a good steward for the space. I think he's doing some good stuff. I think that we need more people like Brian standing up to these big banks and helping drive regulation in for the good, not for the traditional banks that are lobbying to get what they want and kind of, I don't want to say nerf, but downplay a lot of crypto and what's happening here. But before we get too far away from Ian, I'm not sure if he's got it out or not. I did post a Substack article of his up top. Some good reading. The spreadsheet is dead. Long live the code. Relative to today's earlier conversation. Again, that's pinned up top. If anyone enjoys some longer form articles from one of our guest speakers today, thanks for sharing. Let's see. Two other kind of topics to hit on, at least fly over. And then if anyone else has any thoughts, comments, again, no guests today, unexpectedly. So we've done a little bit of fill in here, but good news. It was a busy news weekend. So plenty of stuff to talk about, even with a guest who wasn't able to make it. I mentioned this, and I think kind of a big deal for speaking about crypto and onboarding people and getting people on chain. MoonPay just announced this. The future of X Games will be built with MoonPay. MoonPay times X Games League connects the world's most iconic action sports athletes with technology powering counterculture. The revolution will be televised starting March 24th. It's time to defy gravity. Ian or Jack, any chance you're deep into X Games? I don't know what they mean by starting televised. What is the X Games League, I guess, is my first question. Because X Games is happening right now. How is X Game Leagues different, and what is it just like I'm going to try to dumb this down. Like X Game Leagues takes place throughout the year, and then X Games is like their Super Bowl. Is that accurate, or what exactly is this? Either of you know by chance?
I do not. How is XGL different from the traditional X Games? The traditional X Games are iconic standalone events. XGL builds on that legacy with a league format, allowing athletes to compete for their X Games clubs across multiple stops each season, earning points towards a championship title.
Okay. I did not even know that this was a thing, but I do think, maybe I'm wrong, but I do think X Games and the X Games crowd, the demographic, the fans, I do think that makes sense to connect these individuals with crypto. Not only is MoonPay making this move, as we mentioned, Rect is a big sponsor out there. Rect is, I'll share this here. Their grapefruit with X Games launches today at 1 p.m. Eastern. This says tomorrow, but this came out yesterday. This is actually today at 1 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Rec. By the way, if you claim that World Star cola, cherry cola, make sure you go get claim your drink points, claim your Rect. And this is pretty sweet from the official X Games account. I'm going to pin this up top, and I will go pull it up here on the screen in a sec. The final Rect report of Aspen 26. Like, I think really good partnership, really good sponsorship. They got some pretty cool press on the court, or on the court. On the slopes is awesome. If you see the video here, you got Rect on the actual slopes. I think that's pretty sweet. You know, it's good marketing. I mean, everyone watching is going to see Rect. It's really good branding, more so than just, no offense, a small logo on the side of an F1 car going a couple hundred miles an hour that no one can see. This here that I pinned up top, this video is Pete Arneson and the Rect sidekick Connor Manning present the biggest send, best tech, and Rect moment of the day. Even having the Rect moment of the day, some pretty cool, I think pretty cool collaboration, pretty cool partnership, and I hope I'm rooting for them. I hope the drink sells out quickly today. All their drops have sold out. I doubt this will be no different, but really rooting for them. I am a small equity shareholder in Rec brand, Rec drinks. I do hold a single Rec guy, and I hold some Rec token. It is not a life-changing amount of money. I'm not planning on selling, but in the effort of full disclosure, after I beat up some fellow KOLs for not disclosing paid promos. This is not a paid promo, by the way. I'm just talking about this because I think it's interesting, but yet I do hold a very small bag. Wanted to make sure that is very clear. Go ahead, Ian, and then Jack, if you want to get in here, feel free to. If not, we'll keep moving.
I was just going to throw some shade. Yeah, Rec got way more eyes. But then again, Rec didn't want to go up into the Monaco suites and, smooth a couple of those little French ladies up there. They actually had their brand in mind rather than themselves. Funny how that works out, but yeah, Rec's looking great.
What is it with why are the French so generally disliked? Can someone educate me on this?
I love the French, to be honest. I like East France. I like the south of France. Paris and Parisians are the majority of what people say they don't like.
Okay.
So they don't view you as a person if you're not as French as them. They don't view you as a person if you're not as well read as them, if you can't speak their language. And if you're speaking their language and you're not speaking it in a Parisian accent, you're lower than them. So that's kind of where it is, but I love France. French Alps is one of the best places in the world. Like, that's where I want to get, like my retirement is like in the French Alps in Evian, where the water comes from. It's gorgeous out there. But yeah, Paris is pure trash.
So you're telling me when Steve and I were in Paris last year for NFT Paris, we hosted a fireside chat over there. And I think it might have been Valentine's Day night. We were walking back to our hotel and we wanted some dessert. We stopped at a vendor there, and he wasn't speaking any English, so he probably was not a fan when he finally got to the one that Steve and I both wanted, and our very gringo non-Parisian accents we both simultaneously responded C. This was foreshadowing that I would become a fan of Latinas and arepas, but yeah, probably not a fan of me or Steve for not only not speaking in a Parisian accent, but in the exact incorrect language to begin with. Let's go Jack, and then we'll go to Miss A, who I think might be here to defend the Parisians. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, before Miss A gets in here, I'm a little bit with the other side of this take. I get treated so bad when I go to Paris, and I think it is like if they don't like us, we don't like them. But I did see a comedic take on this, which was like, look, if you have the best food in the world, and you have the most beautiful women in the world, and you have one of the most beautiful cities in the world, why would you want anyone else in there? Like this is ours. We've seen what you guys do to everywhere else. We're good with how we are right now. So yeah, if you come over here, we will sort of be okay with it for the most part, as long as you're leaving real soon. I think that generally is the take that I got from this. I can't remember why I initially put my hand up, Cap. It's been up for a while, but I think X is just super buggy. So it's not showing the hand raisers again. It was wrecked. I think they're just playing the Red Bull.
Yeah,
playbook back,
I agree. No, they're executing the Red Bull playbook. Arguably, I mean, if you look at their trajectories, as good or better than Red Bull did. Yes. Thomas adds they crushed it with the Exium partnership, really bringing the brand to the people out there on the slopes and the ground. The Miss A, we will get to here in a second. I just wanted to show. There they are. Rec guys up just 1% on the day. I think it's also being really slept on in the world of crypto. I think I think Rect, the team, I think Rect Coin is being slept on as a brand coin. Some it's just a there's nothing there. It's just a meme. I disagree. I think how they're building it, what they're doing, is very different from any other meme. That's just a pure meme. I think it really is a play, and I know it's not equity, but I do think it's a better representation of goodwill for the public than we've seen previously. And I think that the fact that it has a market cap of 80 million today, fully diluted at 122, I'm not saying go rush out and buy some Rect. Again, I hold the coin. I'm not a seller. I may be a buyer here. I think there could be a moment where they actually get the credit and respect they deserve. Speaking of, before I go to Miss A and we'll go back to Ian, I see Poppy out there. Speaking of getting credit they deserve, not lost to me that after the sweep last week and the big 10E sale, Quirky's up another 4% on the day to 0.73 ETH, quietly starting to get more and more recognition for the space at large. I remember a time where Doodles was probably 10x the price of Quirky's. Doodles now down to 0.44. Confusing drop, a collaboration between Doodles and Burnt Toast. Riddle me that. A vinyl. Doodles was completely lost me. They were building Doodles AI apparently, and then it was just a Gemini picture. Like I really have no clue what Doodles is doing anymore. Went from a big fan of the brand and how they were building the space to being completely lost all the way out on Doodles. No offense to anyone holding Doodles. I'm confused as a commentator on this space. I don't even know what to tell you about Doodles or what they're doing. I don't know why they would. Maybe I saw someone say maybe this is a foreshadowing that Doodles is going to start collaborating with other artists, and doing the first one with Burnt Toast makes sense, I guess. But I would maybe say that instead of just I don't. They've kind of lost me. Not a knock on Doodles, more of a giving some kudos to Poppy and the Quirkies. While I'm here, I mentioned Del Mundo's up 23% to 0.03. Moonbirds, Oddities, and Mythics, and Oddities at 0.23, Mythics at 0.25. You can see up 8.2%. This was after a big sell-off. Moonbirds up 9.5% to 1.9. Again, after a big sell-off following the announcement. You can see they were up to 2.69 and dropped all the way down to 1.7. So up a little bit from there. I don't know. I think this probably settles. I'm guessing like 0.7 will be my call. 0.7, 0.8 post TGE, post token claim. We know there's going to. I mean, this is not a shot at Moonbirds. It's just they'd have to announce something we haven't seen before for there not to be a massive sell-off in the NFT. A lot of people are buying, speculating on the NFTs for token allocation. Once they claim the tokens, not all. There's some collectors or some that are very, very long the brand, but there's going to be some that they're only holding the NFT to claim the token, and then they'll probably rush to sell the token, then they'll rush to sell the NFT, and I would expect the floor price to probably be cut in half. So let's call it 0.8, and if Poppy, I saw you jump up, but drop you back to listener. X has been buggy again all day. Maybe take a quick lap if you want to come up. I'm happy to get you in here. You might just have to leave the space, force close X, and then join. Yeah, just a. I hope there's something more. I even saw Moonbirds like post today about the claim, and my response, like something about, are you ready to hold BIRB? And I asked, well, is there a reason to? Like, what is the reason? Is there going to be any utility or perks for holding the token? Is there going to be any sinks, or is it just a meme? And don't tell me it's like that's what Pingu did. No, Pingu, yes, it is a brand coin or meme, whatever you want to call it. But there is utility for that. You get bonus XP on abstract for holding Pingu. Now, is that, you could call it a Ponzi? Okay, maybe. It's at least there's some reason to hold the token that's different than Dude Which launch, which basically gave no reason to hold the token other than just pure speculation. I think it's difficult for these NFT brands to launch fungible tokens. In fact, many have leaned into the strategy route, Quirkies included. But you look at Good Vibes Club and Chimpers and Quirkies, some of the best performing NFTs. This was the post video I sent out over the weekend. We lost you again, Poppy. I don't know. Make sure you're on the most recent version of X. You might need an X update. Sometimes that will boot people from the stage. If you're on an older version of X, it won't let you up. But would love to get your 2 cents on this if you'd like to join. Yeah, Good Vibes Club up big. I'm not saying it's just because they're strategy token. I know it's deeper than that. I know there's more to it than just that. But it is not a coincidence that Good Vibes Club, and this is just 2026, up from 0.4 to 0.9. Quirkies, 0.52 to 0.73. Heavy Metals, 0.04 to 0.14. And then Chimpers are also joining the parade here. So 2 things. One, it is strategy tokens that they have in common. The other big thing they have in common, I post that video up top for anyone that wants to check it out later. The other thing they have in common is protected royalties. Again, I am going to beat this drum for a while. I think most NFT collections should be moving to a royalty protected contract. Not all. At least give your holders an option. And I'm not saying NFT native brands, NFT PFP native brands should rely on royalties as their sole source of revenue. I think it should be a source of revenue. And not only a source of revenue, it protects your holders to some degree. It mitigates flippers coming in and out of your collection. Like, you're going to not have as many people that are going to buy your NFT solely just to resell it or dump it into bids because they're farming some sort of NFT marketplace points program. They're much less likely to do that if they got to pay a 5 to 10% royalty. That's okay. I mentioned on here, I sold an oddity recently, and I was intending to pay the royalties. I made money on the flip, and I like Spencer. I was happy to pay the royalty. It was grayed out. It didn't even give me an option to pay the royalty. And now you're like, oh, what's 5% on $1,000? Do they really need the $50? I don't know, man. Look at their volume. Go look at NFT Pulse and check out the NFT royalties. It'll probably blow your mind. The brands that lately have been crushing it on royalties, like it's very real money in an industry where there's so many NFT brands that are struggling. They're doing layoffs. So how are we going to generate? We're looking for product market fit. How are we going to make this thing work? Well, there's one of them that's right in front of your face in the form of NFT royalties. And just in the last week alone, Good Vibes Club has generated $50K off royalties. Del Mundo's $28K. Brand new mint. Yes, granted it was near fee. Does it have a higher percentage or higher fee? Yeah, it does. But again, they're generating real revenue. Quirkies, $18K in the last week, 7 days. And it works when there's alignment. It works when those royalties are reinvested in the ecosystem in one way, shape, or another. In the last month, the 30-day chart, Good Vibes Club are closing in on $200K, $185,000 in royalties. It's number 1 in the space, ahead of Pudgy Penguins. They're at 146. Mad Lads at 65K. Mutants at 47K. Quirkies, number 5 in the entire NFT space at $37,000 in the last month. Not enough people are talking about this. I think more NFT collections should go towards royalties. This is not a sponsored post, but we will be working with a sponsor in the very near future that's going to help make this a reality for some of those crypto native brands looking to make similar moves. I've lost all hands, but I do want to get everyone in here. Wanted to join the conversation. Since Poppy joined us, powered through whatever X issues was giving him, and I invoked him by talking Quirkies. Poppy, go ahead, and then we'll see if Miss A and Ian want to get back in here.
your little update X trick worked. I didn't realize. I thought I had updates like automatic, but anyway, yeah, it would not. Every time I came up, I just couldn't hear you. So thanks for the thanks for the update, Alpha. Yeah, look, a couple things. I did look. I got an email from Doodles the other day, and it said Doodles and burnt toast, and I clicked it, and I saw the vinyl, and I bought it right away. I thought it was really cool, honestly. But after I just bought it. I was at a traffic light, bought it, Apple Pay, super smooth. But after I bought it, I said to myself, "Wait a minute, burnt toast is Doodles." And that's interesting, right? I think like I do have several Doodles collectibles. I got the last one as well. It was it's like I don't even know what I should know what it is, but it was just like this black character with like a cannon or something. It's super cool. So I was like, all right, I'm buying it. And I think that is my extent of involvement in Doodles personally. Like I haven't um felt the urge to, personally own the NFT. Um, and I think for me now, like if I'm deploying capital in the space, it's with founders that I have a relationship with and that support us as well. I made that decision because I spent 3 years deploying ETH all over the place, most of the time losing and not getting the support from like any reciprocation from some of the founders, especially the higher floor price projects. So I do think that this has become a more common theme. It's been topic of conversation in several spaces that at least in the PFP side of NFTs, but I also think it plays into art, right? Like people like being around Jack Butcher, so they collect Jack Butcher stuff. People like X copy, so they, collect X copy or people or whatever. I just think it's common theme that people are here for, proximity, relationship, community. And the general consensus is that, you look at like GVC chimpers, quirks, and they have a few things in common. Yes, strategy token is one, but our strategy was at 220K market cap last week, and not the buzz. We're at almost 2 million now. But I think so. I think that's a factor, maybe not the biggest, but if you look at GVC, Chris and Ty are very active. In fact, they run the studio. They do live streams with Mason every week. Creating, and people like that stuff. Chimpers, you got the boys. Timpers and Insight, the brothers, and Joey that have been super active in the space for years. And man, like I'm in DMs with holders all day. I'm on spaces at least once or twice a day. We're in Discord. I have relationships with most quirky holders and even people looking in, like they ask questions to me directly. I'm not piggybacking them to somebody else. I try to be as involved as I can. Plus, I love it, and I think that's an important factor too. The Chimpers boys love what they do. The GVC guys love what they do, and there's other founders that love what they do. So I'm not taking that away. I think Luca, Garga, clearly these guys love what they do. But you can't just love what you do. You have to love the people and have the patience and be a part of that community. So I am excited. And on the royalty topic, Cap, I think it's really important because I think it was us and Creeps that did it. Well, I don't know if let's say we did it first, but when Blur Farming and OpenSea then made that announcement saying, hey, in 30 days we're getting rid of creator royalties. Every project was left with a choice, whether some of them didn't realize it, they just thought they had no choice, but they were left with a choice to somehow upgrade airdrop airdrop or create a claim to move to a 721C contract. I think a lot of projects were scared to do it because they didn't want to get negative feedback. The founder of Corky's at the time made the decision and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to 721C. We're going to airdrop. Gas was expensive. I think he spent like 40, 50 grand in gas, airdropping all the different collections. And then, at that time we ended up moving, Magic Eden was having, people essentially sign agreements to honor those royalties. And there was a big buzz for Magic Eden with their new Ethereum marketplace. And we moved over to Magic Eden only and enforce royalties. And I don't know all the figures of what, the former founder generated. But when I bought the project, I was very clear with the community and said, look, I didn't buy this to, capitalize personally on the royalties. I'm not taking a salary from it. This is for the royalties are for the community. They're for the project. So as we're, reinvesting those royalties, the community is directly benefiting from that with our, we have new websites, our animation studio partnership that we're going to be launching starting in February with all of our content that is fueled by royalties, bounties, buybacks on the street token. We'll probably do a big physical event some point this year. All those things, they're coming and directly fueled from the royalty wallet. And it is amazing because the community buys into it. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times people get offered, hey, let's do an OTC. And community members are like, no, let's do it on chain. I don't mind. And that's important because I think they know the money's going to the right place.
That's the key part.
The project.
That's the key part is the alignment. It's the key part is in all their different own ways. Yourself, the Good Vibes Club, the Chimpers, they're all active founders. They're engaged in their community. They're accessible. They are building in public. I think the other common thread is it really does tap into what in my opinion, what made the NFT space so special in 21-22 was this alignment theory. And it's not just airdrops. It's not just free magical internet money. But if there is alignment, and now it's completely different if the founders go dark, you never hear from them, and they're just collecting royalty checks. Like, that's not great. I'm not saying it's a perfect system, and I know some founders can abuse it. Dort adds, it's more than just enforcement, but it's also a mindset of truly giving back to the holders in a meaningful way. Bring them along in a meaningful way. Be active. Agreed. Strategy tokens and enforced royalties give the founders a way to amplify their intent to give back. And that's exactly it. It's for the founders that are building and aligned. They're building with an intent to get back to their community. They're aligned with their community. They want to bring them along for the ride. Enforced royalties, it amplifies that. I think enforced royalties, it's like there's an old saying that like money just makes you more of what you are. If you're a good person, it's going to make you a better person. If you're an asshole, it's going to make you a bigger asshole. Same thing with royalties. If you're a bad founder that's just here to extract, it's just going to help them extract faster. It's going to go to zero anyways. If they're a good founder, and I know that not every NFT PFP founder has to give back to their community, but I'm saying if you want to build that quote unquote flywheel, if you really want to drive true alignment, find ways to give back. It's a lot easier to do that if you're bringing in. I just showed I looked at the annual number for the first time. Good Vibes. I'm not sure exactly when I made it. I believe it was January of last year. So Dort can probably clue me in the exact date. I think they just hit their 1 year anniversary. $1.83 million in royalties. The only brand that generated more royalties is a marketplace. It's Courtyard, they're generating fees off of selling, Pokemon on chain, in pack rips. The only NFT PFP brand, there's two over $1 million. Mad Lads, who's always had protected royalties, and Good Vibes Club, over at 1.83 million, 1.6 million respectively. Think about that. In 2025, in the first month of 2026, Good Vibes Club has generated more royalties than all of Yuga. I think, without doing the math, I think Good Vibes Club has generated more in royalties than has Yuga and Pudgy Penguins and CryptoPunks combined. Now, I know throwing CryptoPunks in there is an easy hit because they've always been zero fees. But point being, or they've always had their own zero fee marketplace. Point being, Good Vibes Club has generated more in on-chain revenue than has Pudgy Penguins and Bored Ape Yacht Club, who I think most would say, other than CryptoPunks, if you're talking about an active NFT PFP business, you've got punks and apes that are the far and away two leaders from a notoriety, from a proliferation, from a floor price standpoint. You're talking active businesses leveraging NFT PFPs as their starting point, as their initial funding mechanism. And Good Vibes Club has done more than both of them combined, and both of them have multiple collections. Like, that's insane. Like, just think about that for a second. And then wonder, why is Good Vibe Club up to the floor price? Well, because they're aligned. They're reinvesting these royalties back in the ecosystem. Sometimes it's buying strategy tokens. Sometimes it's buying NFTs. Sometimes it's putting on community events. You know what? You can do a lot more community events if you're generating $2 million in royalties a year than if you're generating zero. It's always been kind of mind-blowing to me that there's been so many against NFT royalties. It's mostly traders. I get it. It's taking away your margin if you're an NFT traders. I firmly believe that NFT PFPs, NFT art in general is, Good Vibes Club hasn't even been a year. Holy cow. It was March 11th of 2025. I thought it was January for some reason. Insane. So in less than a year, they've generated nearly $2 million in royalties. Crazy. And I firmly believe that NFTs, both PFPs and art, weren't meant to be traded at high velocity. They weren't meant to be overly hyper financialized and DeFi, products. Yes, it's a token. Yes, you can unlock more tech, but I think the initial thesis was collecting things you want to collect. It was an access pass. It was a membership club. Dude, people aren't flipping their country club memberships every once, twice a week for a 0.01 ETH gain. That broke the model. And now I believe we're starting to see some of that come back with brands and projects like Good Vibes Club, like Chimpers, like Heavy Metal, like Quirkies. And part of it is because of how they're building in public, aligned with their community. And oh, by the way, they've got 4, 5, 6 figures of royalties coming in that helps them do all that. A lot easier to do when you have that extra income coming in where you don't have to continue to sell stuff to your user base. I know I am not making this PvP. Please don't take this out of context. But I think Spencer's on record saying he wants to build BIRB into $1 billion brand. How are you going to do that? Like, I don't think you're going to sell $1 billion of these. No offense. I bought them because there was a token involved. That's it. I haven't even opened them. I opened them to get the card, to scan, to get the token. I may or may not even open the packs. I'll probably see if anyone wants to buy them unboxed, but I don't think they hold any extra value because I already have the card. I don't think you're going to sell. I don't think you're going to become $1 billion merch brand. No offense. I don't think anyone wants zipper pants other than a few very niche, hyper niche audience of people. I'm not the audience, so maybe I'm just some boomer that's out of touch with what the kids are buying nowadays. I don't think that's it. And I think if you're building in the NFT PFP space, I think you're doing it wrong if you're not collecting royalties. Dort brings up a good question. I don't know the answer, but he says, when does provenance actually become counterproductive? Interesting thing to think about. And he's saying, talked about Chimpers migrating to royalty and forced contract right now. Do you think other legacy collections from 2021 should say screw provenance and file suit? I think most should. Maybe all should give an option. Personally, the only NFT I wouldn't migrate is my ape. And I'm probably, one of, I don't know, maybe 50 people that still holds an ape as a PFP that they minted. I think it's less than 100. So for me, provenance matters. On this PFP that you see on stage, it matters to me. It's part of my NFT journey. It's part of my career journey. So to me, that's my rookie card in this space. I don't want to claim a Top Shot moment or a Zed Run Horse. So I'm going to claim this 8 PFP as my rookie card in crypto. It means something to me. They'd have to give me hell of incentive to want to migrate that thing. But I think they should at least give the option. And then I'd have a tough decision to make. Like, I would hate it if they said, you got to migrate to get your to get access to the clubhouse or get access to Ape Fest. I would be disappointed. But of all, I've 10,000 NFTs. Some of those are just open edition stuff. But let's just say like hundreds, if not over 1,000 of different NFT collections. And the only one I really care about provenance that I don't think should migrate, that I don't want them to force me to a new contract, would be this ape that's in my PFP. Everything else, yeah, I think they should. And that's going to be a different answer for everyone. That's why I think the option is important, to not force it upon them. But everything else, I think, yeah, like punks. Maybe if something you minted, like if you minted a Pudgy Penguin and that's your first NFT and you still hold it, I can see you not wanting to give up that provenance. I get that. I also think there's ways now, and not to keep foreshadowing an upcoming sponsor, there's also ways now to migrate to a new contract, but yet still have the ability to go back to that provenance. I think that's the win-win, is don't burn this NFT, lock it up. If I ever want it back, let me have it. And I still don't think I'd do that with this ape, but everything else I would. It's literally the one thing that I care about provenance, is something because it's very personal to me. And some, if you're a trader and like, I get you, it's that's short-sighted. I don't care. It's not life-changing money to me. It's not like, ooh, it's just not. Like, it's a good bonus. Like, I'm not, it's worth more to me to the provenance, the story part of my journey than it is to go get a few extra grand off of, some airdrop or something. It's deeper for me on the emotional attachment, the nostalgia than it is. But that's one asset. So yeah, to answer the question, I think most should follow suit. Poppy, go and get back in here. Then we'll get Miss A in, and then go back to Ian, and we got to let everyone get on with the rest of their money.
I'll be super quick on this. I do agree. I think that I'm more shocked than not looking at the last 3 years and like Pudgy not shifting to 721C. And maybe the reason Luca didn't do it is because maybe he would have been met with some feedback. Personally, they could go apply a 2% royalty or 3% royalty, and I think it would kill some of the farming. I think it would kill some of the marketplace manipulation. I think it would. I mean, it's killed it for us. It's killed it for GVC. And that's. I mean, I talked to Insight from Chimpers. It's probably 6 weeks ago, in that range, and he asked my opinion on it, and I said, "You guys should absolutely do it. I don't think there's any reason not to." So I'm really happy that they decided to do it. I think it's a great move. I think part of the reason you go to a 721C is so you can upgrade. Like, it's not just the royalty thing. You get so much more ability with that contract. But a new marketplace could launch this year and farm us all over again. Like, we can't be naive to the fact that we're moving towards an NFT run, and people are going to try to make money off of it. And last time we were crushing blur launches, and incentive drives behavior, right? Like, so all of a sudden rares become devalued, everybody's being incentivized to flip and earn points. That can and probably will happen again. I know a lot of people have had opinions on OpenSea's treasure chest stuff. Won't get into that. But having a 721C is great because it gives us the ability to whitelist a contract or not, be on a marketplace or not. And I think, when we launched Core Kids, it gave us the ability to update our metadata and add a second image to the token, which has been honestly the biggest catalyst for us. We've had 150 sales in the last 8 or 9 days on Corkies. And I mean, that's insane for us, as none of it is, farming or whatever. So anyway, yeah, just wanted to share that. I would love to see some of the older projects, the well-respected projects like Pudgy, do that. I think it would be a good benefit.
Agreed. And to your point, royalties are just one part of the equation. We're one part of the why. Yeah, royalties the easy financial decision to make. Yes, but it's more than that. It's an upgradable contract. You can do more with the tech, and I think mitigating short-term traders and flippers who have no desire to be a part of the community, who could care less about the brand, I think they're net negative to most collections. It might be fun when someone comes and sweeps 100 of your asset. I tell you what, it's not fun when they decide to dump all those into WETH bids and starts cascading liquidations. It's not fun. And it usually ends up net worse than where it was when they started pre-flip. Or not only does it drive down the floor price and lead to cascading liquidations for NFT loans, it kills momentum. If especially if someone knows what they're doing and they can see, oh my goodness, there's this one wallet who's a known farmer. They've got 200 of these assets in their wallet. They're going to dump them at some time. It's a ticking time bomb. I'm not going to come in now. I'm just going to wait until they dump and brick the floor, and then I'll look for my entry price. It really stalls, if not kills, momentum, and often it's been a death knell for some collections that they've never recovered from. And it's people just, royalties, are bad. Get out of here. Royalties is what brought a lot of people into the space, brought a lot of artists into the space. Like, I'd love to see a big artist who came in and got excited about royalties, and then when blur farming started and royalties went away, they decided to move on. This wasn't the space for them. I'd love to see them come in and migrate to a new contract and protect the royalties and maybe have a second go at it. Changes things. It really does. And it's more than just royalties is what it changes.
Yeah, if people are like worried about the grift. Sorry, just to say this, like if people are worried about the grift, just remember we get to decide where we spend our money. So, like if you don't like the project and they're enforcing royalties, just don't buy it. I think it's just as plain and simple as that.
Yeah, grifters are going to grift anyways. If someone wants to extract from the space, they're going to extract anyways. They're going to grift anyways. They're probably not going to do it by NFTs now in 2026. Maybe I'm wrong. Some will, but probably not the first thing they think of. Miss A, appreciate your patience. Tell us why everyone's too hard on the French and Parisians in particular, and feel free to take it wherever you'd like. Appreciate your patience.
Oh, you're welcome. It's nice to the dog wanted to comment as well. So, but I was actually going to agree with a couple of the comments because it's a bit like I had a Parisian teacher when I studied fashion, and I started taking French in college, and she was just like, "Oh, if you cannot speak the Parisian French, it's poo-poo to you. Get out of the class." So in some ways, it's really just Paris and it's bourgeoisie. Like it just really thinks it's very up there. But
before you move on, can you give us at least one Louis Vuitton before you move on?
Yeah, I mean, what was that about Louis Vuitton?
That was it. I just had to get one Louis Vuitton.
But actually, I wanted to comment on something that Jack said. They've kind of lost the plot on the most attractive women. Okay, I mean, Cap knows this already. They've lost the plot. And Paris of yesteryear is not the Paris of current. And that's something that many NFT folks would understand as well, because you've probably seen NFT Paris evolve from what it started out to how it's now ended, So when you look at it from that lens, I think maybe I think they're living in a sort of a nostalgic past. And I think it's a done deal. And some other parts of France, of course, are beautiful, like in the south of France and sort of in the countryside near Saint-Tropez. Of course, those areas are really nice, but that's the south of France. But Paris itself has become don't have many positive experiences as of late. So it's safe to say that I think they might have lost that title. The food is a little bit different. The food they have still, but when it comes to the title of like the most attractive women.
While we're on this topic, I just had to I did a quick ChatGPT search.
Yeah.
Number 1 on the list, Venezuela.
What I tell you, man, you see, Latinas all the way. I'm sorry, I'm Latina. So right there, I'm with you, Cap. And when you need the co-host that's Latina, you let me know. We'll sort out a day of like mindfulness, of professional development. We'll do it because you need that. Like the incredible. Latinas are going to be like the new alpha for like the next 10 years or so.
The way you say Latina, by the way, just going to put that out there.
But it is. It's like the Latinas, whether it's Venezuela, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Cuba.
Don't forget Brazil. Brazil's number 2 on the list.
Shout out Dominicans. Dominicans in the chat right here.
Espera un momento, por favor. The Dominicans and Dominican, we call them Platanos. Because
chill out. We got big bananas.
Around.
Don't call us no banana though.
No, we joke around with a lot of love and jest. But when you said Brazil, it's interesting, Cap, because Brazil speaks Portuguese. They don't speak Spanish. And that's a big misnomer. Brazil is like kind of its own country on like South America. And you when you go there, you will also notice that.
They have their own.
Not a lot of them actually speak Spanish. They'll speak Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese as well. But Spanish they'll understand it, but they don't speak it.
I cannot share this on the show. There's maybe like
back channel,
3 or 4 people have heard this story, but my all-time, I mean, I agree wholeheartly. I agree with this list. I agree with number 1 and number 2 on this list.
My wife is Boricua. I know.
Papi knows I'm Boricua.
I've not yet experienced a spicy Venezuelan. I have absolutely, like, spicy is the understatement of the world for what I experienced with the Brazilian once, and it's so incredibly wild of a story. I can't even share it on the show.
Cap, spicy is relative to where they're from.
Crazy. Brazil. Everything they say about like a Brazilian in terms of their looks, their personality was accurate, including like the crazier they are. It's just like it was. It was the stereotype. Yes.
We separate them from the bunch because Papi understands this. When you're talking about spicy, there's level of habaneros and like salsa and picante.
This was the ghost pepper. This Brazilian I interacted with was a ghost pepper.
Exactly. So like if you live in Venezuela and Colombia, and there's just a different type of spiciness. When you talk about Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, you have a different type of spicy. You know what I'm saying? But they're all spicy. And it's a bit like you have to take the whole package. You just can't cherry pick what you like of them. You have to really take the whole package. And I think a lot of people, a lot of men may struggle with that whole package. And it's not a negative. It's just that Well, Papi understands this. It's like Latinas just don't want a pendejo to their right or left. They want a king, and they want that man to be like a king so they could enjoy being by their arm.
I'm
You
sweating.
can keep the Guatemalans.
I'm
Cubans are beyond spicy. I watched my Cuban roommate try to light my friend on fire.
It's the
Yeah, you
coladas.
see, but I understand that. But Puerto Ricans and Cubans are brother islands. You know that, like they have reverse color flags. The Cubans actually and Puerto Ricans have a really love relationship because it was Puerto Rico that went to I think it was Cuba that came to Puerto Rico's defense back in the 1800s, and actually Puerto Rico's they've come to each other's side quite a lot, and their flags are reversed in color. That's the simplest distinction of their flags, and it's actually connected to Andalusia in the southern part of Spain and Tenerife and La Gran Canarias, because that's actually where the Spanish came over to Puerto Rico and Cuba and the Dominican Republic and all of that. So there's about 20 countries right now in the Latin. Well, it's the loophole is closed, or the ley de memoria is closed. But up until like October of last year, 20 countries could actually get the Spanish passport if they could prove their lineage on their grandparents and on their great grandparents. So it's very interesting, and a lot of people took advantage of it, but that door has closed as of last year. So
I'm gonna try to get us back on the train tracks because I got Payne in the green room
I
shaking
know
his
he's
head at
probably
me.
cracking.
We went from a very professional about provenance and impact of royalties and protected royalties to now we're rating women of the world as we're past the closing time. Hans in the abstract chat does come over with another very generous Pingu tip over there. Says, good conversation, by the way, not talking about rating women of the world, rather for high volume centralized communities, it makes perfect sense to enforce royalties. For decentralized low volume collections, it doesn't. GVC is the exception in this. It launched in the period compared and after mint. A lot of NFTs need to be moved to reach high owner, so you have a very high volume. I probably butchered that, but it's not for everyone. I do know I think the option, and it at least is something that legacy collections that aspire to build the way that GVC is building, the way that Quirkies are building, the way that Chimpers is building, that they may not be, they're thriving not because they're the highest volume traded, because their team, their founders are very active. They're in the trenches. They're voting in public. They continually reinvest in their community, and they're not looking for traders and flippers. They're not looking for extreme volume to catch attention. They've captured attention their other ways. I also can recognize it's going to be harder for a brand new collection to capture attention. That said, Del Mundo's is proving me wrong. I know it's early. I know it's only 0.03, and it very well could go backwards if they don't do anything else. But I do think there is something to be said here. I'm excited. I'm gonna follow up with this sponsor I keep alluding to here today because I would like to get him on so I can stop talking so vague. But there is an efficient way. This isn't a knock on Chimpers. I think they made the right move, but I can appreciate those who don't want to lose the provenance of the original asset on the the original smart contract on mainnet. I don't see any hands. I'm 17 minutes over. Give me a wave if you want to get in here, if you have anything pressing. If not, if you're just here to Aura Farm, perfectly fine. Appreciate joining the stage. But is the wave you want to get in here, Ian?
Yeah, I just want to talk more about Latinas.
We'll save it for
Latinas.
Save it for tomorrow. But don't forget, #1 in the world, Venezuela, followed by Brazil, Colombia.
I'd like you to meet their rival, Vietnamese women.
I have a friend who married. She's in where are they at right now? They're traveling, but yeah,
Me love you long time.
Italy, France, U.S., and South Korea round out the list, the 7, 8, 9, and 10. But we can't Ukraine, Russia, and Sweden in there, 4, 5, and 6.
Cap, I just figured out how I'm going to go viral. I'm just going to open up a space right after this. Let's discuss women. I'm just going to mute out, bring like 10 people on stage, and let them.
Oh, Papi, that sounds like a really, really nice idea. I mean, like, think about it. You could actually
until my Puerto Rican wife finds out and kills me, and then I'm never.
Yeah, then you die, right?
Come on the space. Just get all the Latinas on the space and let them all sort of run it. Then you'll get everything go viral.
It's either going to go very well or very bad. That's all I know. There's no in between. It's one or the other.
No in between.
Especially if you incorporate the Brazilians.
Cap, I'm glad you learned that. That's a good thing. You see, that's que buen hecho.
Yep. By the way, for those that were keeping score at home, I got my second wax last night. I had a couple patches on my back, gone. So from my neck hair all the way down, I'm smooth as butter right now. So shout out to the Venezuelans for their talent waxing as well, home waxing no less. And on that note, I don't know how to tie this back in any sort of professional conversation or NFT royalties. There's probably, you could maybe add that as utility to your NFT PFP collection is waxing at your next. Actually, it probably would benefit a few NFT bros out there to some personal hygiene, some waxing, bring some deodorant, some mouthwash.
Also getting into the gym.
Yes, definitely get your activity in. And I was trying to lay in the plane on a professional note. Payne, I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm just going to show. I should have called it instead of the ghost pepper. Should have called it the Brazilian Reaper. That was a miss by me. Thanks for the assist, Dort. On that note, fun day today. We actually did, believe it or not, we did get some pretty important news topics discussed today from Zach XBT and the crypto scammer who stole 40 million from the U.S. government, to the Trove of getting doxxed and more coming out on that soon. Apparently, we talked about the Penguin bringing back the trenches potentially. Coinbase playing a role in that maybe. Nifty Gateway shutting down. That's your PSA. If you missed anything today, if you have any assets on Nifty Gateway, take action now. Don't be like myself. Actually, that's what we should put it over under. What day? February 23rd is D-Day for Nifty Gateway. How long will it take me to move? Not my 2 NFTs from Nifty Gateway. I might have a bonus if anyone guesses the exact date. It was pulled up. I could have done it probably live during the show, but I chose not to do that. Just I don't like clicking buttons, not knowing exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, when do you think I will move my assets off there? Don't do what I do what I say. Don't wait till the very end. Get your assets off Nifty Gateway. Because it may be Starbucks Odysseys, which are just stamps and part of your journey here and something you enjoy. It could be an X copy. It could be a Beeple. Like, get your assets off of Nifty Gateway. Do not delay. And more coming on the BIRB conversation this week. That TGE is coming soon. If you have any vinyls like myself, make sure you do those claims before we run out of time. And if you are a Rect enjoyer, go support that drop today at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's their partnership with X Games. Pretty big deal. Thanks for everyone being here. Greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the show. Hope you all have a wonderful Monday. And as Steve would say, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.
I'm taking the unders on your Nifty Gateway.